What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome to Lapeef-ing Sunday. You guys hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Right on.
Took it to everybody else. What's going on, Bougie, Naomi, Lady O, Sham, Monet?
Hey, hey, hey.
So, Miss Sham, Monet, how you doing, man? How was everybody's Thanksgiving? If you guys celebrated. Some folks may not celebrate it on here, but if you did, how was it? What did you do?
Went home to Alabama.
Oh, Alabama, the South. How was that? Oh, y'all had some. Oh, y'all ate good down there.
Yeah.
She went back home to that slave state. Y'all had to get back out in the cotton field, Shane?
No, I haven't seen a cotton field.
Said she hadn't seen the cotton field. Right. Let me see. I'm trying to wait around with the dope. He should be pulling up in a second. Dr. Lady O said she went to Alabama as well. Oh, okay. So she went to Alabama too. Sham Monet, Dr. Lady O.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like we got a few folks. I think Darwin may be from Alabama too. So I think
Y'all niggas enjoying y'all freedom, ain't you? I know that's right.
What did you do? You think that we didn't have freedom? I was treated very well in Alabama growing up. While you playing?
So we can't hear you now. You're on mute. Just don't know if you're talking to us or not, but we cannot hear you if that's the case.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Awesome.
What's going on, dope?
What up? What up?
What it do, man? What it do? How was your Thanksgiving? Mont?
Chilling. I can't complain.
No, did you cook?
I don't cook.
No.
I can cook, bro. I can cook healthy food, but I don't know how to do all that. The black people stuff.
No, we was kind of expecting seeing a reel or something pop up with you frying a turkey or something.
Oh no, not me.
Not that time. Okay.
What about Friday? Did you cook a bird then?
I don't cook nothing. I don't cook nothing but like steak and stuff like that.
No, real simple guy, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I know there was a bird that was cooked on Friday.
He funny. He funny.
Friday. Oh, okay.
Did you catch a sale, JR?
Yeah. You talking about on Darwin's?
No. I'm talking about a different type bird.
Oh, yeah, the Eagles. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Definitely was.
Okay.
Shout out to the Chicago Bears. I don't know if y'all some Eagle fans, but shout out to the Chicago Bears for doing their thing. It's an exciting feeling, an amazing thing to witness greatness. Finally, it's about that. Pressure, if you do catch this on the replay, are you watching? I feel bad for you. I know you love the Eagles, but it wasn't looking good for y'all. We abused y'all. We beat y'all. Spanked y'all. I love every bit of it. What's going on, Luis?
God
Man, they're gone so long, forgot how to operate the mute button.
I know. I was trying to get this thing fired up.
I know, man. I was trying to get my mobile camera set up, man, but it's giving me some issues right now, so I had to check on it midway. What's going on, AP? How you doing? Edward Gilbert, Mr. Center of the World, Mills 0040. What's going on? Nike, how you doing, ma'am? JD Thompson, also a member. What's good? If you celebrate Thanksgiving, put a 1 in the chat. I'm just trying to get an idea. No, if you don't celebrate, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't celebrate, I'm just curious if anybody doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't think you have to acknowledge the holiday per se, but I do think it's a good time to at least bring family together. Mills says he doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. Some people just chill. It's a day for them to relax. They don't do nothing. They just keep to themselves. Anyhow, we got a good show ahead for you guys, man. Mario had an interview with the Shade Room about marriage. Says he doesn't want marriage. Him and the host went back and forth a little bit I thought that this would make for a good discussion. We haven't streamed in a while, so why not do it the right way by talking about marriage? I know y'all folks love to talk about marriage, especially Shan. She's a heavy advocate for marriage, I know. No, that's a stank face. Maybe not. All right. Let me go get this video queued up and we should be good to go. Did you do anything special, Luis? Oh, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're off in. Cooking? You cook?
Yeah, I made a dish. I went to my aunt and uncle's house this year.
Okay.
It was kind of, you know.
Okay.
I didn't travel anywhere.
Yeah. Keep it light. Like the airports was packed from what I've seen. At least I've seen it in Dallas and I think Atlanta. I was seeing videos float around where there was a lot of traffic jam packed. I even seen people getting out walking. That's a long walk, depending on the airport you at. At least I know for Dallas, to get out right before you hit that toll booth, that's depending on what terminal you at. That's a long walk. But I guess if you're trying to get where you got to go, you're going to go ahead and book it. You're going to be sweaty than a mother before you get on that damn plane. I can tell you that. That's a long ass walk. Tough crowd today, I see. You guys are just dry today. What's going on? No excitement. Everybody got on their phones. Y'all still sending out last minute thank you. What's good?
You know, I ain't got no off days
Weather,
for
man.
December the 12th. I ain't got no off days. I'm not even at church. I'm at home working.
Dr. Lady O, I don't know what type of slave job you got, but I don't want that. I don't know what you
Well, I work in Medicare, and this is open enrollment. So we're really busy around this time of year. But that's fine because I've already made my sales goals, and I got another week and a half to make more. That check gonna be nice. I know that.
okay.
So
Our
yeah,
check
but
gonna
that's
be
what I
nice.
do.
Yep, our check gonna be nice. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm speaking
Yeah,
into
she got that
existence.
Alabama mentality, man. She loved doing that slave work. You see what I'm talking about? She
Don't
went
do
to
me
Alabama.
like that. You know, first of all, I just lived in Alabama, but I'm from Michigan. But one of my sons lived there, so I went and visit him and his wife and child. So it's all right. You're a mess.
That's some nasty work.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be ready.
Jay, how was your Thanksgiving, brother? How was yours, man? Look, nobody decided to ask you. Let me ask you. How was your Thanksgiving, brother?
It was nice, man. It was pretty light. Spent time with family, watched a little bit of football. So it was a good thing. Ate good. But in my elder age, man, the food just started not to agree with me so much, man. I don't know what it is. Certain foods kind of just be sitting right there. So I don't know what that's all about, but I don't want to get no
You
older,
know,
younger.
you know,
That's all the chemicals in the food right now.
That's what it is.
Food ain't made like it used to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Absolutely.
thinking. Because when I eat healthy, it's a
mhm,
different vibe. I don't struggle, but for some reason, when you get the grease or certain sauces, I'm just like, what is going on? It's usually when I decide to start dipping into other foods that's mixed up with a lot of different things. But when I'm eating vegetables, I'm just drinking water. If I do eat maybe like a beef or steak or eat some salmon or shrimp, just keep it real simple. I don't experience those things, but it's
You
kind of
need
make me
to
want to
scan
go.
on the
Hmm?
Yuka app. You need to scan your sauces on the Yuka app. It's called YUKA, and you'll see exactly why you feel like that. And it has like a label on the back to tell you what other types of sauces you can get that don't have those chemicals in it
Okay.
that they put in it.
mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I might have to go ahead and check that out. Man. Some folks don't want to hear this information because they stuck in their ways and they're gonna eat what they want to eat. And you
Mhm.
can't tell them nothing. But if you do have an open mind, I be seeing a lot of different things floating around. I don't know the truth of it, but it kind of make you think twice. But
Yeah,
Oh, it's
I
very
can't
true.
eat them
It's just
now.
how much resources you want to actually look into, like, to make sure what you're eating, because people don't realize, like, even the younger generation is starting to, start to have problems, like kids, and they're poisoning our
Seriously.
children even more. Like, if you look at all the snacks, all the chemicals that are in that for the children, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know I can't eat a lot. Being in my 50s, I can't eat a lot. I get full real quick. And I don't even eat meat. I haven't eaten meat in almost 16 years. So it's been over 15 years. So at best I've eaten a piece of salmon here and there, but well, all of the other stuff I don't eat. Um your body does change as you get older. I will say that. It's because you get old.
Well,
So
I mean, shout out to Lady O for being celibate. Shout out to Lady O for being celibate. She says she don't eat no meat. Right on.
you know
Hey,
what? I
hey,
ain't
me
fooling with
too.
you.
Same here. How
Oh,
long have you
you
been
missed,
like
oh,
that?
my fault. My fault. I'm sorry, Lady O. I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know, we had to liven up a little bit because, like you say, we was dry earlier, so it got heat to just turn it up a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm
they
trying.
turned it up, man. I don't know if he turned it up,
Okay.
but
Tiger
you turned
lady,
it up.
how long have you been vegetarian or vegan?
15 years. It'll be 16 in April.
So are you vegetarian or vegan, or you go back and forth?
I go back. I'm actually vegetarian, but I eat more vegan food than anything. But I still eat some dairy. Within the past 2 years, I have eaten a piece of salmon and two, just for the extra protein and stuff. And I like the way salmon gets your skin looking. So, but other than that, I stick to just mainly vegetarian. That's what I've been doing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm saying I've been this way for 5 years now.
Congrats.
And I go back and forth. Every once in a blue moon, I might eat some red snapper.
Okay, that's
You know,
fine.
yeah, that's about it. But that's probably
Yeah,
like once in a year, maybe.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. I can tell you, I love it. I love it. Yes, sir.
Well, shout out to y'all, man, for doing it the healthy way. It
Yes,
shows you guys
Yeah.
sir.
have great discipline when it comes to food. I don't know about everything else, but at least when it comes to food, y'all sound solid.
Yeah, I'm pretty disciplined now for that part.
Right.
We know
That's
we
Yeah.
the
can't even
main
get
part.
men to eat lettuce. We can't even get men to eat lettuce. Y'all don't even eat
Right.
lettuce.
You got to put some seasoning on it.
Hmm.
Right. I got
Fry it. You
daughter-in-laws.
got
They
to
tell
fry
me
the
the
lettuce for
story.
'em real quick.
They can't even get my sons to eat lettuce. Y'all know y'all wrong for that.
We,
All right,
we
we're
ain't
going.
eat no lettuce, Lady O.
Huh?
The men ain't eat no lettuce.
No, they won't even, they would take the lettuce off the sandwich. My daughter-in-laws be complaining. They were like, no. And one I work in healthcare. I'm like, you work with sick people. The nerve.
Today.
Y'all men so funny.
We're gonna go ahead and get this show started again. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you are catching this on the replay, hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe as well. We're gonna go ahead and get into this video. So, Mario, are you guys familiar with the singer Mario? I'm pretty sure. I don't know how young we got folks on here. I know Dope, you pretty
Yeah, I
young.
know who he is.
Might be
Yeah.
before
Hmm.
your time. Okay. So
Braid
he's
my hair.
yeah, there you go. He sat down with the Shade Room and he basically said he was against marriage. Again, interesting dialogue. We're gonna go ahead and do a stop and play. And we got some questions in between that's gonna fully unpack this discussion. Sound like a plan? All right, so let's go ahead and bring it up. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Give
Yeah.
some advice to the youngins because they're out here
Hey
just popping
man,
babies out.
listen, strap up, bro. If she ain't your girl or somebody you see a future with, like strap up. I know it's different. The pleasure not the same. You know, if y'all don't have a real connection, strapping up is harder because the pleasure is not the same. When you have a connection with somebody, it don't even matter. You rocky. You know what I'm saying? Strap up, man. Strap up, ladies. Make sure you strap up.
Yeah.
Having a child is not for everybody right away. There's a lot of responsibility that come with it, and I think in a day and age right now, time is not on our side.
Mhm.
Every day you got to hustle and get to it and work hard. So make sure you're ready and prepared. Make sure you're prepared to take care of that woman, and make sure she's straight throughout the pregnancy, because you are going to have to make sure you want her to have the best experience possible so that the baby can be healthy and she can enjoy it. I think that I pray every day more so now than ever for women who don't have support, who don't have a father around, or who don't have family to help them, because it's a lot. It gets you get to that third trimester, things get real.
Yeah.
And so
Is she in her third trimester right now?
Yeah.
We're almost.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. So Mario talks about strapping up, being careful, and even taking women's phones to avoid being trapped. My first question to the panel is, how much safety is too much safety in dating?
Can you elaborate for me?
Yes, please.
Is there a point where trying to protect yourself becomes controlling instead of smart?
Absolutely.
not.
Go ahead. I don't know who was talking. I heard you say
I think
absolutely.
it was
Dope.
Bougie. Go ahead, Bougie.
Say that question again, because I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
The question was, how much safety is too much safety in dating?
I mean, there's not enough safety. For one, I think there's spiritual safety, connection. A woman, especially knowing, her energy, knowing her inner being, and knowing connecting with a man, where's he at? Where's his mind headed? How is he going to hold you in those places where you may need emotional stability? Physical just isn't going to cut it. I think that's something that definitely needs to be even more protected as well, because if you have that, then you definitely know you're going to strap up for sure. And getting tested, people need to get tested often. So yeah, there's not too much safety to
I,
me.
I think there can absolutely be too much safety. And that's when I think when from the time you start dating and you meet somebody to the time you eventually may get married to that person, there's you give more and more each time in each period, each season. So of course, like when you first meet somebody, you are very on guard because you don't know that individual. But you might go on a few dates, 2 or 3 dates, and then you might feel comfortable with them knowing what you do for work, or them knowing where you work, or them knowing where you live, and then eventually you might feel comfortable, having sex with that person. And I think, eventually you get to a point where you're giving that person more and more. And I think that some people, they don't give enough, and that can cause you to lose a good person. I know for me, like, at least for me, when I hear women say, "Oh, I'm not cooking for no man until I'm married," or "I'm not doing this until I'm married," I'm like, all right, yeah, well, a man like me is not going to, a man with my character, or who is like I am with my woman, is not going to be interested in that type of woman. And that only matters if you're interested in that type of person. But there absolutely can be too much safety, too much self-preservation. I think when you try to preserve too much, you end up possibly neglecting the person that you're with, or just not giving them enough. So I absolutely think some people are too guarded.
I thought you were meaning in like having sex, because we were talking about, babies being born and all that. Not necessarily like a relationship. Maybe I misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. That's how I interpreted it. What I answered.
Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah. There are a lot of women out here who are much quicker to deal with the box than they are willing to cook for you, which I think is reverse. But anyways, there's a lot of factors that when safety comes into it, we think about just the sexual aspect, right? But to kind of give credence to what Miss Bougie said, there is the emotional, there is the spiritual, there's all these other things. And also too, like people worry about getting tested for STDs and stuff like that. A lot of people haven't been to the doctors in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, let that sink in with you. You'd be surprised.
That's terrible.
You'd be surprised when was the last time somebody had their blood work done, their checkup. So there's a whole slew. We could go down that rabbit hole. But just to kind of stay on course, I think that there should be gradual levels of access and gradual level of of opening up. But I don't think that's all up front. I think this is just a process that you go through, especially when developing with somebody. And yeah, you should always strap up because unfortunately, like, every year there's always these new numbers of how many new infections and, what's happening in the inner city. And, more and more younger people are being more active and their decisions are kind of derailing their life, right? And it's affecting not only their family, themselves, but everybody around them. So I think that's something that needs to be greatly promoted. But I think also too responsibility. I think we're talking about strap up, but I don't think that people talk about the responsibilities of when you don't strap up and the things that follow after that. So there's like a whole education process that goes with that. But I you.
All right, go ahead, Shan. How much safety is too much safety in dating?
I don't understand that question, but I don't think dating is safe. I think that if I look at it from the stance that Dope took, I mean, I think that you can be too safe, like just not taking it any step further. Like you just don't want to commit to anything, and so you are just protecting yourself. But then if I look at it from a different standpoint, when it comes from female, I don't think that dating is safe at all. It gives you, there's no return in dating. It's a great time, maybe an experience, but that's it. If there's no finish line, if there's no intent, there's no ring, no commitment, somebody being responsible for you, covering you, it's just an experience. It's not safe at all. That's just my opinion.
So when you bring up dating, you're referring to as far as dealing with multiple people?
I'm referring to dating one person. It's plenty of people dating one person and never get to the finish line. It can be from one person to several people. At the end of the day, they both sometimes end up in the same spot where you are still not in a relationship, a marriage. I know plenty of people who are in long-term relationships and they've been there for years, not married. I have a friend right now. She's been dating this guy for 7 years. No ring. I don't see one coming.
Okay, so based off of that, it's kind of safe to say that you are for marriage, that if you're dating, it should be leading to marriage.
Well, so if one person wants marriage, whoever, nowadays I'm starting to see, my opinion, I think you should be dating towards marriage. But this new school thing they've got going on here, undoubtedly, that's not the thing. I'm hearing more people like, oh, marriage doesn't benefit men, So I guess it depends on who you're dating. But if you want marriage, there's no safety in you just dating. There's no safety in dating. You got to go in knowing that this could work, it could not. You can't give all your apples, put them all in one basket, meaning give them your all, thinking that you're going to get a return on your investment, because the way it looks with statistics, you're probably not.
Okay. I got another question to pose to the panel, and anyone can answer this. Do you think people today trust too fast or not enough? And I'll kick it off with you now. Do you think people today trust too fast or not enough?
You said what? Too fast? I'm sorry, I didn't get that middle, that word.
Do you think people today trust too fast or not enough?
They confused.
I think I can answer that. I feel like I'm gonna speak from my point of view. For me, I feel like you have to go in with some form of trust, because if you don't, then how would you be open, to even starting anything, or to even get what you're looking for if you have too much reserve. So I feel like there could be some trust, you let people show you them, open up, as you start to trust even more. I'm not saying go in blindsided, but definitely I feel that there should be some Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I
we can, yeah.
JR, if you just said something,
You're mute there.
you said something.
Do you say? I'm sorry, my phone was cutting
No, I
out.
was just saying, yes, we can hear you.
You couldn't?
We could hear you. And I think you might have got a phone call. You cut out, but we can hear you now.
Yes, I got a
Yeah.
phone call. But yes, so I believe that's not my point of view.
Okay, go ahead, Naomi.
So I think there's kind of a balance, and it comes down to the communication within the two people. Like if you have a conversation as far as, hey, this is going to be dating for marriage, then trust should be gifted, because that's what trust is built. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if you're going to be having a conversation like that with somebody, then obviously you have to trust them, because your vulnerabilities and your desires are going to be something that you have to verbalize. Now, if you are not having those hard conversations and y'all are just like talking with each other, then you can end up trusting too fast, and that'll be dangerous, because one of you will end up with the heart broken. So it really comes down to the conversation and the communication that you're having with the people, with the individual. And if you're actually having those hard conversations, if you're not, then you kind of setting yourself up for a heartache. And if you are, then it's showing direction and intention. But I actually agree with what Shan was saying. For women dating, there's no covering. And it's dangerous for women to date like that.
So I know. Go ahead, Luis. I'm gonna say this real quick, and I go to Luis.
Yeah, go ahead, JR.
For the people that's watching, I hear what you guys are saying, but I'm not sure if it's clear enough for the people who are trying to get understanding. So when you meet someone, what are you supposed to do? Because if you're not dating them, we're just having a conversation. Do you not go out on a date? Like, what does that look like to be leading towards marriage without dating? Like, how is that supposed to happen? What does that look like for a woman, with you guys giving advice to women?
I can't hear you, Naomi.
So I was asking Shan if she wanted to address that first, or me.
You can go ahead.
Okay. So in 2025, I think it's going to definitely start off as conversation. You're going to want to, dating it's the intention behind it. Say you're just going to go out. There's a big difference. And we've heard it all over social media, the difference between dating and actually courting, what that looked like. There's a difference between the two. When you're courting somebody, you are having those conversations like, hey, I'm searching for my wife, or I desire my husband. And women are wanting to be chosen for a wife. Unfortunately, in 2025, that isn't something that is normal as much. So people are dating, and with the lack of courting, which is how women end up in situations where they've been with one man for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then they end up upset and bitter, like, he didn't marry me. But then 6 months later, they break up, and he's married to the next woman he ended up talking to. Is because she required it. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people aren't having certain conversations because they don't want to feel rejected. So they just kind of sit. Men, from what I've seen, both men and women, they're avoiding certain conversations, and it's got to a point now to where you just, outside of like going out, there's no true intention and direction with the conversation. If a woman brings it up, from what I've seen, if a woman brings it up, oh, she's just trying to tie him down too fast. And if a man brings it up, oh, he's love bombing, and it's that, it looks like that on both sides. So to me, there's not enough mature people having that mature conversation in the beginning.
Well, I also chalk it up to people not really prepared to have those conversations quite yet. And I say that because there are people who are trying to court people in their upfront in their intentions, but because that person on the receiving end has only been used to the regurgitated dating cycle and coming across people who are not intentional. Once someone who is intentional and they're steady and they're talking to you consistent and they're talking about things that actually matter, or the things about life and building and etc., they get scared because it's like, oh shit, like this is new. I've never experienced this. Like let me take 5 steps back, right? And you've been having those conversations incrementally, building up to that person, building up to that moment, but that person mentally is not prepared to that. They think they want the experience of dating. They want the butterflies, the flowers, the being outside, having somebody paying for something, holding your door. But the actual next steps of progression, a lot of people are not ready for. You know what I'm saying? Because once you start having those conversations, it gets uncomfortable because they haven't sat down long enough with themselves to have these types of conversations to understand what they really want and what do they want to have in their life. They haven't sat down with themselves long enough to understand what that looks like. And I think the last component, there was one more component I wanted to add. In terms of women feeling safe and covered in dating, I think the way we go about it is absolutely atrocious. I mean, we've had this conversation a long time ago. I brought up, close circle dating, community dating, right? You having people within the same circles of values, you are in same or similar echelons in terms of education, profession, etc., right? You're introducing people who are vetted. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is John. I've known John for 15 years, et cetera, et cetera. Like, let me introduce you to this person, right? As opposed to swipe left, swipe right. He looks nice. I like his haircut. T-shirt looks cool. Let me go on a date with him. And you are walking into it blind, as opposed to close circle dating where somebody who's introducing somebody who is properly vetted, who you will probably engage in a much more enlightened conversation.
All right. And repeat that question one more time.
The question is, do you think people today trust too fast or not enough?
I don't think they trust enough themselves mainly, because I'm just saying you can't go into these situations and you just have all this distrust for somebody. And why are you even wasting your time with them? Now, people will show you who they are at the end of the day. And that's the thing. They show you who you are, who they are always. I have not, at 53 years, I haven't seen one person yet that don't show you who they are. When it comes down to the marriage and all that, I did both. I was married for about 10 years. And I was with somebody else for 13. We did not marry. And we parted ways in 2020. And I can tell you this, it's all about what the two people want. If you want a marriage, you ain't got no business sticking around for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years. That's totally 100% on you. Okay? Now, if you both say, you know what, this is what we want, we're not having any children. To me, I don't really see the benefit of marriage, not having kids, but I digress. We chose to not marry. We considered it, but we just chose not to go through with it. That's a different dynamic. But if you really want marriage, you don't let nobody take you down through that for 10, 11 years and 12 years. Just don't do it. Because I will say this, and maybe you men could back me up, maybe not. I will say men are very intentional. They usually don't talk, they usually just do it. If they want to marry you, they will. But I see too many women, they just wait around. The man even told me he was going to marry him. They haven't even told him that. They just assume he going to marry him one day, and they stick around. I don't believe in not like when they talk about cooking and cleaning and stuff, I don't believe in not doing those things anyway. I'm gonna do those regardless. That has nothing to do with being in a relationship when you're already having sex with the guy. If you already sleeping with him, what the hell are you worried about cooking and cleaning for? You're not clean, you're dirty, you're nasty, you don't wash your behind every day. Like those are things nobody has ever had to ask me about. We're not cooking and cleaning. If I got food over here, you can eat it, but everybody know they're gonna eat a bunch of fruit. But anyway, okay. But in general, you know, those are things a man don't have to ever worry about with me. But when you're sleeping with them anyway. So, I mean, are we talking about virgins here? You practicing abstinence? So, I mean, what we doing here? That's the dumbest comment I've ever heard from a woman. I ain't gonna cook. I ain't gonna cook and clean till I become his wife. You done slept with him. You done sucked him. You done all this other stuff, but you ain't gonna make him do this. I mean, that doesn't make sense. So, you know, it just doesn't. So, yeah, I'll land there.
I have something to say. I think that when people say they're not cooking and cleaning for somebody, I think that means they're not going to their house and cleaning their house.
They sleeping with them. Don't matter.
So absolutely, I agree with you. But that will hold to the fact that what I spoke before, that women and men get different things out of intimacy. Because what you're saying is there's not an even exchange. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you grasp what I'm saying?
No such thing as even exchange. Why are we doing it as even exchange? This is the thing. Either you're a giver or you're not.
No, I'm not arguing with you.
Mhm.
I'm just, this is the point I have tried to make on this panel for years. It is not an even exchange for women and men. You're right. If you're giving up you might as well cook and clean. Like that's you give it something higher than that, in my opinion. So why not? So I agree with you. I'm just pointing out that
I've never understood when that to have more power.
You said what now?
I never understood when cooking a meal have way more power than giving up sex.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
when did that?
Well, it happened when the value of vagina and sex is devalued. It's not what it used to be. So it is what it is. You know, the market is the market. It's $40 now. So
yeah, but some of them can't even cook. So what they talking about?
That's why they don't want to do it.
I think that what they're saying, okay, so for example, I think that, let me just put a picture together, right? I think it's like, okay, they are intimate with each other. He's not her man. So he's almost like, okay, how a man covers you in different ways. Like you guys are sleeping together, but does he do the things that men normally do in a relationship just because you're sleeping together? He may do them for himself. He may fix his roof. He may do all these things for himself, but it does not necessarily mean he's going to come to your house, fix your roof, do all of the, he should for sure. But I think that that's what they are saying. I'm just the devil's advocate. You understand? Just giving from another standpoint. For example, so if she cooks for herself and you come over, you feed him. He's in your house. No different from, you're from Alabama. When people come to your house, you feed them, But do you go to his house and make sure he eats every day, cook for him every day? I think that that's what they're saying. I could be wrong.
That was a nice try, but I would do that again.
No, I was just, sweetheart, calm your tail. Calm down, baby. Sunday. Okay, calm down. I'm just putting it out there for clarity. So if that's not what you're saying, then that's just such an opportunity to have a conversation. But
even then, it don't matter though. But even then, it don't matter. It's a whack argument. It doesn't matter if they're going to sleep with him. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter if they're going to sleep with him or make him a sandwich. It doesn't matter.
I need to get.
Nice try.
Let me talk.
I wouldn't be spicy in here. What is going on? I'm sorry, I was dropping my son off. We were doing a drop off. But what was the question?
Well, let me answer. Let me answer, man. Let me answer.
He came in with that deep voice.
This is a thing though. Shane, you was talking about your friend was involved with a relationship over 10 years and didn't get married. Yeah, that's her fault. That's not his fault. That's her fault. Because she's not looking for marriage. It's not priority for her. So it's obvious it's not. Because if it was, she would have did what she had to do and make sure it happened. But she didn't. She didn't require it. Part of requiring is let that man know, regardless if you scare him away or not. Just scare him away. He may not be the man for you. But instead, you chose to continue to get dick down, get fucked down. and don't get a ring for it, that's your fault, man. That's your fault. You got to accept that. You got to take that L. It is what it is. Now, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Most men are not going to move like that and get married unless you require it. And if you don't require it, they're not going to do it just on GP. Most men. I ain't going to say all men. Most men, they won't do it. Now, if you put it out there, let it be known during the time you're vetting or dating, whatever you want to call it, now he knows, okay, now I got an end date. I got 2 years or 3 years to make this woman and bless her with my last name. Or else, more likely, she might leave me or she may move on. And I got to accept that. But ladies, if you don't require that, he's not going to do that. He's going to do like what Shane's friend doing, 10 years in, still holding on. You know what they're gonna say? Oh, we together. That's my man. That's my yeah. Call it what you want to, but any day he could get up and walk out, say the hell with your ass, and keep it moving. Ain't nothing.
What
really
is the requirement? Because I missed that part.
You said what again, ma'am?
I said, what is the requirement? You said that if the woman doesn't require it, I was just trying to figure out what was that.
Marriage.
Oh, okay, got
If you don't require marriage, then he's more than likely not going to give you what you're asking for. He's not.
That's okay.
He's not. Because why? Everything's fine. There's nothing wrong with what we do. He's okay with shacking up. He's cool with that. You cool with that because you didn't move out or try to move on from the situation and kept putting the bucket in. You didn't do that. You kept going year by year. You go to New Year's, all your friends getting married. You catching the bouquet. Guess what you ain't catching? You ain't catching that goddamn ring. You ain't catching shit. You catching a dick. Okay, well, keep catching them dicks, man. If that's all you want, that's all you want. I think the other question you had, JR, I didn't get to answer that. Is there such thing as too much security? I think that was your question.
Too much safety.
It's too much safety. No, I don't think it's never too much safety. Because at the end of the day, you want your wife to be safe. I want my wife to be safe. And there's never too much safety. That means I got to get multiple security cams. I got to get self-starting.
Well, it's safety with dating.
Dating.
They not married.
Dating. Dating, I don't give a shit about you. I don't give a shit about you.
Well, that.
Oh my God. Whoa. That's why we don't feel safe. That's why we don't feel safe.
Ladies, hold on, ladies. Ladies, hold on.
That's an honest answer.
Right, that's true. That's why we don't feel safe.
Ladies, hold on. Ladies, hold on. I shouldn't care about you because I'm not your priority. Because if you're dating more than like I'm dating, it means you're dating multiple people. So I'm dating multiple people, and I don't care about just one. Now, once I narrow it down to that individual, now we got something there.
But you gotta say it like that. You can't just start off being like, I don't give a damn.
Well, y'all didn't like because as soon as I said it, y'all jumped in, and so I didn't get an opportunity to explain. But if y'all let me explain, it might clear it up for you. So I'm glad I'm able to clear it up now. Once I lock into that one woman, yes, I'm gonna make sure she's good, physically, mentally, and emotionally. That's what my job is to do for her, because I want to be with her. I want to make sure she's good. These other heifers, they've gone by the wayside. I don't care about them. They was a moment. They was 20 goddamn minutes for all I cared. But once I lock into that one, I'm gonna make sure she's good till the can. Now, if she feels like I'm crowded or trying to control her, then that's a conversation we need to have. And maybe I can explain to her that I'm not, and this is why I do what I do. Now, if she still feels like it doesn't work for her, then I have to make some adjustments. I'll leave it there.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Bougie.
Have been married or are married, or have nobody been married before?
Ask that again.
I'm saying, how many people, any of you guys been married before or have been married? I mean, is married?
Yes.
Naomi and Dr. O have been married, and he is currently married.
Okay, I'm not recently divorced, but I'm divorced. I was married too, so I'm just kind of I have a question, like when it comes to being when you were married, but now you're no longer. Now you got to go back out there to date and to find another. I wouldn't say find, but like, you want another marriage. I know I do, but it's just so difficult. Like, I don't think my trust is there, but it's just, I feel like it's very hard to get married again. What do you guys think?
You're not healed. Only because I have too many girlfriends that got divorced, unfortunately, but they all remarried. Most of my girlfriends who divorced, these are 15, 20-year marriages that they end up ending. They shouldn't have been with the person in the first place, but I digress from that part. They stayed there a good while, but they all remarried. I would say if you go in not trusting, I'm a person that you attract who you are. And the thing is, you got to get out that distrust of people. Don't get me wrong, it's a bunch of leftovers out here. I'm agree with you on that part. You know, it's tough. But they definitely out there. Luckily for me, like my person now, he's a widow, so he was with somebody for a long time, and she's passed on. They're definitely out there, but I would say they're on the defense just like we are. Don't think it's just us. These men are out here like, hey, we both, and it's like, how can we find each other? How can we connect? You know, it's that type of thing. But I definitely understand where you're coming from and stuff. It is tough though. Yeah, it's a lot of unhealed people out here, men and women. So,
Right, the
I will say
unhealed
that.
part.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel like you might be healed, but then, I feel like, oh, I'm healed, right? But then you get in a relationship and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought I was healed from these things, but I'm feeling like some stuff is coming back up that's similar. And I feel like it's both sides. It's not just on one side. It's not just on the woman's side. It's on the man's side. So when you have all these podcasts and all these social media platforms telling you how it should be to be in marriage and how it should be like this, I really feel like it really messes up a lot of people who are trying to be open when everything is so like, you ready to shut down. Like, oh no, if he's not doing this, then you don't need to be with him. Or if she's not, doing a certain thing, or if she's not cooking, then oh well, you're not marriage material. You know what I mean? It's just so many stipulations. It's very difficult to navigate what everybody feels like a marriage should look like, especially when you've been married before and it didn't work and you've
Bougie,
done
So,
all those things,
so,
Bougie, can I ask you a question?
so Ms. Booth,
Okay, go ahead.
The question that I had was, did I hear you say? And I don't know if I heard you say this. Did you say that it's like a little bit harder for you to date now because of um? Why is it a bit harder for you to date? Is it because of trust or something like that?
No, I'm actually in a relationship. So I'm past the dating part. It's more of the commitment, of finding the right person or, like the person I'm dating right now, or the person I'm with right now. I don't even know if I call it dating or not. I mean, I'm not seeing anybody else. He's the only person that I'm talking to. It's very serious and marriage is on the table, but we've both been, divorced before. So it's just very challenging because some things that I hear, about what women should do and how men should be, and it's like, I don't even know if I agree with that either because I've done those things and I didn't have a successful marriage,
Mhm.
so I think it's more to it than that, you
Would you
know.
okay? Would you say that you're better now? Wait, let me rephrase that question. Would you say that the man that you're with now is getting a better version of you than the man that you were with then?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I
Okay.
but definitely am very aware of how I show up in myself in a relationship. I know I'm going to continue to heal no matter what, through it, whether it be in a past relationship or if it might be some childhood things or if it's just a past relationship. What do you call it? What are those relationships that situationships, because a lot of times we can have, trauma from situationships before we even get in a serious committed relationship.
Hmm.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? So, no, I definitely feel very much aware
Hmm.
and in a better place than I was before.
Would you say that you're willing? Would you say that you were willing to give more of yourself then than you are now?
No, I'm actually more willing now. I have more of an understanding. I'm very understanding to understanding the person, another person, rather than just being me. I'm about partnership, but a lot of times out here, partnership is what can you give me or what can I give you, and it's like well, maybe we should talk about what can we do together and where our strengths are, rather than it being, well, I don't like
Mhm.
cooking. Maybe she don't like cooking some food, and maybe you can learn to cook. Maybe that's not her strong point. Maybe you
Mm.
guys can talk about it and have a conversation if you really, really, interested in that person.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're willing to give more now, then I guess we it's safe to say that you're not moving forward so far because of maybe him. Oh, she left. Damn it.
Yeah, she'll probably be back.
She probably can hear you, but keep
You
asking the
ran off.
question.
Mike. You
Okay.
ran
No,
off.
I was just I
Ran
wanted
off.
to know if, because I think she was alluding to it being hard to move forward because of her, maybe she is lacking trust or something like that. But if she's willing to give more than she gave before, and she gave the man marriage, and they gave everything back then it would mean that maybe she's not, maybe her situation now, it's more of him being skeptical than her. If she's willing to give him more than she gave the man, her last, her marriage. So that's kind of what I was about to ask her.
I want
Hey,
to
go,
hear that too.
yeah, go ahead, Luis. I'm not sure if you wanted to ask Bougie a question or not, but I know you want to chime in.
Yeah, no, I mean, so essentially, what I wanted to chime in was about understanding like her value system around marriage. Like, did she grow up, seeing her parents married, and because the reality is that this is another thing that I tend to kind of notice. There are people who sometimes grow up in really stable environments, and they see the type of relationship that their parents had or people within their community had, and then they have a foundational awareness and sort of like a reference point, and then they get out here and they're trying to listen to Joe. They're trying to listen to Joe, Larry, Stephanie, and all these other people who you don't know, who don't really have a track record, right? And sort of, I try to think about it from the standpoint of like, what is your reference point? Like, what value systems do you have, and what type of approach to marriage have you seen that has worked and that you've been involved with? And and do you find people who also align with those same values, right? Because everybody's gonna, you get 100 people in a room, 100 people are gonna give you 100 different answers.
All right. That's a good point there. What's going on, Eugene? Still, how you doing? It's a good point, Luis. I did have one more question before I play some more of the clip. How you doing, Bo? Welcome to the show.
Bo.
How do you balance being careful with being open to love? And that's for you, Bo. I'll kick it off with you with that one. How do you balance being careful with being open to love?
Oh man. Um, because it's definitely a balance right now. Because you have to weigh all of the things that you've been through. You have to keep from closing yourself off for fear of those things happening again. Like a lot of us are really jaded and cynical right now, especially at this point in our lives. So, honestly, the only thing I can do is treat everyone like they have a clean slate. You're a new person. I don't I don't paint anyone with the brush that someone else left behind. So like I can't give you those things. Now if I see some of those things, now I kind of have to weigh and watch, and be very vigilant. But everybody starts off with a clean slate. Um, and I try my very, very best to be vulnerable. It's scary though, so it's really, really hard to do that. But I definitely try my best.
All right. Anybody else want to respond to that question?
I think that it's a balance for men and women, definitely. I think I think for the last thing you want to do is completely close yourself off, which is what a lot of people do. Um, I could get I could get cheated on a day, and I'm not going. The one last thing I'm going to do is say like, "Oh, I'm never doing this for a woman again. I'm never doing this. I'm never doing that. I'll be who I am." But I might, I might change the way that I vet women. You know, I might change something like that, but I'm gonna still be the man I am. And I think a lot of women should do the same. They should, look at where they went wrong. But I don't think often is I don't think where they went wrong is like, cooking or doing this. A lot of times it's that maybe you didn't vet properly, maybe you didn't give it enough time, maybe you didn't look for the right things. I think we should, work on those type of things, and also, see maybe where we might have did this too soon, or we may have given the wrong impression. You know, those things play a part too, but I think it's a balance.
All right. Naomi, did you hear the question?
Bougie back.
Driving through Houston, these back roads.
No, I understand. I know you driving, you lost signal. And Bougie, if I mute you, it's not to cut you off. It's only to reduce the background noise when you're not talking. All right, Naomi, that question that I just posed for the panel is, do you think how do you balance being careful with being open to love?
I think in order for you to gotta kind of, I don't know, I still believe in love. I believe that I still believe in marriage and being careful. Love is a risk, and you have to choose on whether or not you're going to do it. And that means serving and being available, and then risking not being chosen. And then that's just it. Like for like a woman and man, because if you withhold, presence or counsel or insight, things that women are, femininity, softness, a part of a woman, if you withhold that, you could be risking not, being present for what he's looking for. But then it also comes with conversation from him. Like, is he having those conversations with you? Like, hey, you know what? I desire marriage, or I desire a future. Because if a man's not having that conversation with you, then he probably isn't going to choose you. And majority of the time, it just kind of is what it is. But you can't, I feel like if you're coming in a conversation with somebody and you're withholding, then you're risking not having that love. And love is a risk. And it's ugly, and it's everything wrapped up together. It's understanding, it's seasons, it's disagreements, it's, the good and the bad. It's a combination of all of it. But you have to be willing to every day come back to the table, both of you. And if you're being tabled, or you're tabling things and not coming back afterwards, then are you really wanting love? That's a question you have to ask yourself, and then have a conversation with that person.
Hey, Hank, I know you brought up earlier, and I meant to touch on this point a little bit earlier, as far as a woman should require marriage. I know we often say that men control access to marriage. So if a woman is requiring it, is there a part in there where, if she's requiring it, will he just do it just because she's requiring it and not because he wants to? Because if you're telling a woman that she needs to require marriage, is that a conversation that's happening in the beginning, saying, I'm dating to marry, or I'm looking to go towards marriage? Or are you saying that when she's dating, that if she sees it not going nowhere, she needs to require it? Because, like, how does someone know? How does a woman know if the man is into her if she's requiring it and he's not asking for it?
Well, normally, in my opinion, I would probably say as soon as possible, as soon as you feel comfortable with, this, to have the conversation. Look, the first 2 or 3 dates, he asked you about what's your 5-year plan, something like that, then slide it in there. So, the next 5 years, I expect you to be married, have some kids, or have multiple kids, or, doing this in my career, or that in my career. Maybe start an organization to help give back to my community, whatever the case. That should be all in that questionnaire. That should be in the plan, and give that man opportunity to, respond to the question that you, some of your 5-year plan, and ask him, what do you think about my 5-year plan? What do you think about that? I mean, and then listen to his answers. Now, if he says, yeah, I like it, I could see myself doing the same thing. Okay, now hold him to it. Now, nobody sit there and tell you to wait 5 years for him to address you and say, I do. I would say, look for it within a year or two. no later than the second year. Now, if he doesn't do it within the second year, then you got to make some adjustments. Either walk away from him, have the tough conversation, help him revisit this conversation, or move on. But you got to be willing to walk away. You can't just be willing to say, "Oh, okay, well he'll do it year after year after year," and it never happens. Well, now, ladies, that's on you now, because you staying in there. You didn't give him no end date standard. You didn't, and you kind of seen how he's moving. He's not moving towards that. Then you got to make a decision.
I want to say that I disagree there with Hank when he said the 1 to 2 year mark. I think that the date is a little bit different with me as far as like, you know, I think everybody's different to some degree. You should be able to judge if he's bullshitting you or not, but also don't be so quick to like put that 1 or 2 year mark on it. A lot of times a man might just be feeling like he might want to marry you, right? He might have an idea that he want to marry you, but depending on you, he may not know if he should marry you until a certain point. So, you know, those two things are different. He may not know if it's wise to marry you. And a lot of women got work to do. And they're doing that work while they're in a relationship. Like a man it depends on where you at as a man, but you might be working with a woman who need a little bit more. You know, she might not be used to really being under a man's covering and stuff like that. So I don't think the 1 year to 2 year mark is necessarily realistic for everybody. It may not mean that he's not serious just because it's not 1 or 2 years.
Then why are you with her then?
Because you're working on each other. You're growing. You're getting there.
So now, you sound like a dude who's just playing games. So now what Shan was talking about is exactly what she was talking about. A dude waiting 10 years. That's what so you could keep using that same statement every year after year. Well, I'm waiting for you to get it together, baby. I'm waiting for you to get it together. You're going to keep strolling this woman along. I'm waiting for you to get it together. Now you bullshitting. Now that sounds weak to me. Because you just playing the game. You ain't just there yet. Yeah, I'm still waiting for you. You going to get it together, but I'm going to stay in here while you get it together because I'm loyal to you. Bullshit. You enjoy the perks of the benefits, but you're not ready to get for the commitment. Now, just go and say, yeah, baby, this ain't going to work. I think I need to move on. And stay for yourself.
I think that leaves women to most women.
Look at you laughing. You all just yourself.
I think it causes some women to stay through red flags when that happens. And you know, she know the relationship ain't gonna work, but she waiting on him to marry her. But also she done saw all these red flags that she should, even if she do marry him after 5+ years, it ain't gonna work. So, I think women, your clocks are ticking, ladies, especially younger ladies. Don't wait around as long. Okay, you need at least, put engagement or something. But I do agree with, I'm not sure which one of the fellas said it, that, they're usually, if you're a disciplined man or woman, she know, but at the same time, we also know when there's some red flags. I think some women stay in these relationships too long. Way too long, like way too long. Now again, if it's an agreement like I had, I knew I wasn't gonna marry the person I was with for 13 years. I was totally fine with that. But a lot of women, they're like, look, I give you 2 years. I seriously know a woman, a good buddy of mine. She gave her husband 2 years to marry her. She was gone. She was out of there, and they've been married 10 years. You got to put your foot down in instances like that. So, and I don't see enough women doing that. And that leaves us at the end, like Shan said, that leaves us messed up. After 10 years, then he go out here and marry another chick after 6 months. Yeah, no. No.
Yeah, but
I want to
juxtapose
Hank though. I do want to respond to Hank. So because I still disagree, and I don't think that I felt like it was fair for me to respond to Hank even before Lady O, but I'll let Lewis go. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. Finish your point, man. I'll go right after you. Mine's kind of digress a little bit.
Okay. I don't think me saying that 1 or 2 years, doesn't have to be like a finite number means that we can jump to 10 years. I don't think y'all being serious. I think that's kind of y'all doing a lot, jumping to like, oh, you can hold it for 10 years. I'm not saying that 10 years is reasonable either. I think 10 years seems like overkill to realize if you want to be with somebody or not. But anywhere between that, at least for me, in my opinion, I do think it's reasonable between that 3, 4, maybe even sometimes 5 year mark. I think it's reasonable. I think if y'all want to rush men, go ahead. See where it gets y'all. However, I think that it shouldn't have to be 1 or 2 years. I disagree with Hank. Some men, immediately are right where they want to be, and they like, yo, I just need a plug and play wife. I just need a wife in here. Some men aren't. So I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
Can I say something real fast? But Dope, I understand what you're saying from your perspective, right? But I need you to look at it from the female's perspective, okay? Because what if it does not work, right? So that's 5 years, and you always say women's value depreciates with time, right? That's what you guys love to say. So you just took 5 years of valuable time from this young lady, with her just sticking around, dedicated to you, and in the end, it may not have been, you may have been moving with intent, like, I do want to marry her, but then you may change your mind. Who knows? Somebody else may come and you're like, oh, I'm more compatible with that person. And so here's 5 valuable years that you've taken away from this young lady, and she has nothing to show for that, but she's devalued, so to speak.
Yeah, so you're saying that if a man and a woman are in a relationship for 5 years, that ultimately he wasted her time, and his time wasn't wasted. Her time was wasted.
Well, so the value, when we talk in these spaces, especially, we talk about women's value with time decreases, right? Because there's a biological clock that you don't have to adhere to that she does. Well, now they say you do, so yeah, unfortunately, I mean, it sucks, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying that women shouldn't have a deadline, a reasonable deadline. I'm saying 1 to 2 years. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think that's I mean, some people may have that, but you might miss out on a man who really love you and really want to, really want to be responsible for you, because you said no, it's been too long, I'm out. But I mean, Hank and my advice may get you what you want out of life. So I don't know, but yeah.
Can I interject? I wanted to say, I believe
Mhm.
what you're saying is, I understand when it comes to timing, because time could be, it could be fast or it could be slow, honestly. But I really think it's about when you are trying to prove yourself. If you're expecting her to prove her value as a woman, oh, she's not ready yet. Oh, but you're still with her, is what I believe Hank is saying, or Hank. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Hank.
It's Hank.
Hank, yes.
H-I-N-K, yes, ma'am.
Yes, Hank. Yes, what he's saying, I believe what he's saying is like, if you're staying with her throughout this process, then why not wife her up? Why not, you're sticking with her through it? I mean, it's a partnership, where you're weak at, where she's weak at, you can show your strengths there, and she should do the same, vice versa, especially if you're going to be, a year, 2, 3 years. I mean, I want to say it's a lot of time, but you're spending hours and hours and hours with this person, so I believe a man knows what he wants. When he knows exactly what he wants, he knows. So if he got to work with her, or he got to feel, he's like, I'm going to lock you down. You're going to be mine. We're going to go through this together. We're going to figure this out. It's not going to be, oh, well, if you, maybe today, she's going to do good, or maybe tomorrow she might have messed up and now sets you back in your mind again. Like, that's more of, she needs to prove herself on why should she be a wife to you. It means that you haven't really figured it out with her. So maybe you shouldn't, you should just let it go and not waste, I wouldn't say waste time, but it is what it is. She has to prove herself to you. And if she hasn't proved herself, then, I mean, I think you're wasting your time as well. You know what I mean? That's just my point.
Yeah, the only reason I had this opinion is because it's been
Okay,
my role.
I need to I need to stop this training.
Go ahead, Luis.
You done?
Yeah, go ahead, Luis.
All right. I need to stop this train for a moment, man, because it's just going off the. So we're being a little bit disingenuous when we're having this conversation. I know we're trying to zero in into like maybe the 20-something%, but the reality is that a lot of people out here are just having fun. There are a lot of people out here who are having fun, who want to just be traveling, who just want to be next to somebody who has something going on that is exciting or that excites them, etc., exploring the world. However, people are not really relationship minded until it's time to be relationship minded, right? And the other aspect is that, you know, we talk about women wasting, a man wasting her time, but like, let's be realistic, man. A lot of women are signing up for dudes who are bound to waste their time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not shackling them, right? They're signing up for this. Like, if you sign up for this and you understood what it was about, like, I don't understand why you want a full refund back. Why you want this full experience? It's like people. And I'll give you an example. I want to I want to become a lawyer, and I have to take the bar, but I don't study for 5 years. Do you think that I'm ready to take that bar exam? Or you're trying to run that marathon, and for some reason you think that in 3 years you'll be ready, but you've never practiced? That's exactly the same thing in relationship. People have been practicing non-monogamy for so long that when it's time to be intentional and practice monogamy, you expect them to have this thing fully figured out. Nobody has this figured it out because the starting block and the starting foundation is all fucked up from the very beginning. And the reason people are not honest with each other is because they've been practicing dishonesty for so long that they think that it's okay to scapegoat in the method that they're currently going in. They're not changing the formula. It's just packaged differently. It just shines different and it has a different vote. So although we could talk about the small, minor 20 some odd percent who get married and want married and stuff like that, the reality is that people don't really view it that way. Some people are trying to get under someone else in order to forget someone else that they were with before. That's the harsh truth, and we're just in a culture and a sort of direction right now where these things are talked about ad nauseum, but at the end of the day, people want what they want, and they want but they don't like the results at the end. They wonder why they creep into their 30s and they're still singles, and they see all their friends getting married, and they keep catching the bouquet, like Hank had mentioned, because the formula that they've been following all this time has not been working for them. It's like insanity doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So
I agree with you, Louise, but I think that the problem comes when people, one of the things that you stated, because I know a lot of people, I've seen people do this. They'll try to get over somebody else by getting under somebody else, right? But the problem is sometimes they don't tell that other person that that's what they're doing. And so now it's a toxic cycle that continues to repeat itself, because now that person can't get over you and they go and they do, and it just keeps... because some people, I find that in most relationships, one person is intentional and the other person is not, right? It's one person holding it back, whichever side you're on, right? And so if we can get these intentional people to hook up with each other, and the people who are not intentional to, go off and be honest and say, I don't want anything but to sleep with people, but it's not going to be that way. They're not going to do that.
I know Bo trying to get in there, y'all. Go ahead, Bo.
We always have these conversations about like how what women do doesn't work, and formulas and dating markets and all of that. And women doing what they do doesn't work for them. But I think we also need to admit that women doing what men say do also does not work. Y'all try to give us the formula and that still doesn't work. Mostly just because all men are not the same. See, y'all think that all men want the same thing. We want this. This is all you got to give us. We simple. No, it's much more complicated than that. So even men's formulas don't even work for women. What works? Honesty, vulnerability, people just telling the truth and walking away when stuff doesn't work. Like, it literally is simple as that. You try to give a man submission, he takes advantage of you. You try to stand up for yourself, you're too aggressive. Like, we have to admit that we're all just humans, and there are too many variables for men to say all women got to do is. That is not it, because even respect doesn't look the same for every man. Even submission doesn't look the same to every man. So these formulas that y'all speak of, there is no formula. There is no right way to do it. I could have saved myself for marriage, and I'll still be sitting here sitting on my V card. So I'm just saying, like, we have to just allow people to be people and stop criticizing people so much. The dating market is complicated because people are complicated. Y'all overcomplicate things. Y'all are scared. Y'all don't tell the truth. Everybody's lying to everybody. So let's stop blaming women. It ain't women's fault. It ain't men's fault. It's just people's fault because y'all are liars and y'all are scared. That's it.
All right.
All right, let me go ahead and play some more of this clip.
Yes.
We're almost
And
there.
she
Is that
was
why
like,
you
yo, I
watching
gotta
your
get
phone?
this tour. I gotta get this tour and get home. You know? But I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
No,
Yeah.
very, very commendable. So,
Yeah.
okay, so why don't you want to get married though? I heard you say marriage is not for you.
This is not going to, y'all not going to understand this, some may not, but I think that should be a reward. You know, I think that there's a lot of things in what I do. I need to know that we can get through so many things together before we go there. Because, can we finish?
I didn't say
Let me
anything.
finish. I know he's about to. Because it's not a normal, you know, once your situation's out there, it's like anything that happened in your relationship becomes public knowledge. It's really hard not to, right? And so, not just because of that, but also because of that, I want to make sure that we are very strong in the first 5 to 10 years of our relationship. And then from there, the reward to me is like, all right, let's do this thing. We deserve this. We earn this.
Mhm.
Versus, oh, we should get married because it's the right thing to do. Like, no, that's not, no. I don't think in terms of societal norms, I cancel all of that shit out of my life.
Okay.
Back to the conversation we had 33 minutes ago. I cancel all of that conversation out of my life because societal norms are not normal no more. I'm sorry, it's crazy. I'm good.
Do you don't think it's backwards to have
Says who?
kids first
Says who?
before marriage?
Says who?
Based on your reasoning. You said
Says
you want
who?
I'm asking you.
I just told you. I just answered that.
No, but I'm trying to understand your reasoning. You said you feel like marriage is the reward. You don't think a child should be the reward?
The child is marriage. What do you mean? A child is marriage. We're gonna be together forever. I'm not going nowhere. Where you going?
Does Esmeralda want to get married?
Listen.
That's a yes.
Of course, I think every woman wants to get married.
And so she's okay with not getting married.
I can't speak for her. But what I will say that is we have these conversations and we're both in understanding with each other and we understand each other's perspectives.
So explain to me so I can understand too, right? Explain to me.
Try. What more do you need me to explain?
I need a little more clarity.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
For you, I want to understand with men.
Well, hold on, wait.
Okay.
You dodge something. I'm not gonna let you dodge it. Societal norms. You said you don't think it's backwards. So that statement, you don't think it's backwards. Where's that coming from you? Who told you that? Who put that in your brain?
Well, for me, for myself, I think that children are a bigger commitment than marriage. Just whether I don't know if that's societal norm.
So hold on, let me tell you how on point I am.
Okay.
What am I doing first?
You're having children. You're having a child.
Correct.
So you feel as though that's
you just said it's a bigger commitment, right?
Okay.
So if that's a bigger commitment, and you're talking to a person who didn't have a child till he was 39, what does that say to you? I plan on being with this woman.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. What do you guys thought about what just happened? Anybody can chime in.
That doesn't mean he's going to be committed to her faithfully. He could just be with her for her having a child and they'll be in each other's lives forever. You know, that doesn't really have the depth of a marriage, a union. You know, it's more of we're doing this for the child, but not for the connection of what God and a man and woman is really supposed to be together to create life and have a child and do those things. Of course, you know, you can't really stop life from happening when it does. If somebody has a child before marriage or whatever the case is, you know, but to have that type of mindset, I just don't agree with that.
She's gonna get it when the child turned 18 and be gone. Okay. He gonna be gone with the child. That was just a way for him to keep her around as long as a kid young, don't have to worry about her dragging me to court for child support. If he wanted to marry her, he would. Child is not more commitment than marriage. Marriage comes first. I don't understand this. He's not putting her first, and he's doing that now. But again, when that child gets older, he's going to be gone like the wind. Just sit back and watch. I'm just gonna be honest with you. He talking about forever. The kids gonna go off. They're gonna get married. They're gonna do their own thing. And then what have you two built together? Like I'm not understanding his logic at the end of the day.
He doesn't like
I don't
her.
know.
He doesn't like her.
So how is she losing in this scenario?
I said she's losing.
Yeah, I want to know how she's losing.
She ain't gonna get it because if you listen, she actually does want to get married. That's why he didn't want to answer the question. She actually do want to get married. But see, women would tend to do this. They would tend to just be strung along. Although she think eventually he will marry her. Trust me. She thinks he eventually will marry her. This is what this woman is thinking. Because if she didn't, let me tell you something. Kid or no kid, if I want to be with somebody, I won't. Okay. I just think that she's sticking around thinking he will eventually marry her. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
So
but
I can tell you what she's missing, right? I see what you're saying. So I don't know if they live together. So, you know, the protection of him being in the household, covering her. You know, at the end of the day, if she doesn't get married, then she's a baby mama. You know how y'all feel about baby mamas. Hard to bounce back from that. Now, no man wants her because she got a kid by so and so. You know, all of these things are going to be a part of her. Her body's not going to be the same. She's bringing in his legacy. You know, this is something she's doing for him because it's going to carry on his name. So those are things people don't think about the backlash that baby mamas get if it does not work out.
Taken to when when DMX passed away, right? His 10-year-old girlfriend thought she was gonna go to court and collect his money, but she had another thing coming to her. Time means nothing. You know, and it doesn't matter if you have kids with them or not. The kid will inherit that stuff, but not her. She tried to go really take over everything. They wouldn't let her do it. So the woman has got to, you know, again, this is where I did a 13 relationship, so I'm not against it. I'm against when you come out complaining. I'm against it when you come out and try to make it seem like it's the other person when you stayed around just like they did. So that's the issue. But in his case, listening to that interview, because he didn't want to answer that, he was like, you got to ask her. She wants to get married. She do. Don't let her fool you.
So I asked her because I asked her where she was losing. I asked her how she was losing, right?
Value. That's what she's losing.
She is gonna lose in the end.
I don't think that y'all actually gave me good reasons.
Okay.
So one of the reasons was she would be a baby mama, right? That's not a real thing. That's not a reason, right? That's just like red pill men are going to say mean things to me if I ever hop online. Like that's not a real thing. She's a man.
No, sir. That's life. Listen,
Well,
it's not. It's
finish,
not
I got you.
That's
No,
not.
I got you.
You come into a generation with you thinking this is coming from red pill. That has been going on for generations. People used to ship people off to have babies in other states because they didn't want them to know that their daughter got pregnant, you know, without being married. That's not a new thing. That's been going on for centuries, sweetheart.
Men used to lie about eating pussy because they were afraid. Back in the 60s, men would lie their ass off about eating pussy. I'm saying,
I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I just want to let me finish my point. I did get cut off.
Having a whole child.
I did get cut off, please. Like I was saying, being a baby mama is not real. That is fake. I understand the idea of like, it's a societal, like in reality, it's not a real thing. You are a woman who had sex with a man and a baby came out, because that's what happens when you have sex with a man. And now, if that man is taking care of you, if he's being a good father, if y'all together, there's not a real difference between being married versus not being married. You can be with that man for 10 years and y'all can have businesses together. Or you can be a woman who just sat on her ass and just made sure that she didn't get no paperwork together. And you know, after 10 years, she don't get nothing. But it's very easy to make sure that you can control, you know, that whatever y'all got together, if he passes, it's very easy to do that, like with paperwork and all that type of stuff. You don't have to be married, right? I don't think you guys actually really articulated where this woman loses by being with a multi-millionaire, successful man. He's 40 years old. She's having his child. They've gone public. He's like, yo, this is what I want to do. And he said, this is what I want to do. Like making it seem like, oh girl, like you need to get married, or like you haven't actually extracted any value from him. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it makes
Well,
sense.
being an insurance agent, most people don't leave their non-spouses money. We got to stop this foolery. It's a small percentage of do, but most of them don't. I do this. This is my industry.
But you
Most of them
can,
do not.
right? You can,
They
right?
can't. Most don't.
No,
It
that's
doesn't
not
matter. And you got to also, I'm going to tell you something. And there's a lot of entitlement that you don't get if you're not married. So, you know, he could put on life insurance and all that stuff, but there's a certain percentage, Social Security.
right?
It's a lot of things he can't do. So again, most people don't. It doesn't matter whether or not he can. Most don't, and you're relying on that. That's like getting some. That's like this mess these men try to get these women to fall into. Well, I don't want to get married, but I'll put you on a deed on my house, and I get you life insurance. All those things he can go behind your back and change. So I disagree with that. So what they can do, what they gonna do, unless he do an irrevocable trust, he gets nothing. And this is why I tell women, y'all gotta stop falling for this bull crap some of these men be pulling on y'all, because y'all piss me off when y'all do that. Okay? Unless it's an irrevocable trust, you get no love here. Stop relying on that. So
Dr.
that's
Lady
what I'm
O,
saying.
that's not
What?
true. That's not true. You're saying that, oh, the only thing that he can do is if you're not married is put you on an irrevocable trust, and that's the only way that you can be taken care of if y'all. That's not true. It's not true. Y'all can have
I
businesses
said
together.
most don't do it. It doesn't matter, sir. I work in the industry. I'm insurance. I'm an
I get it. You're
insurance
about to say I
agent.
work.
Most of them
You're about to
don't.
say I'm an insurance agent. I get it. I heard you, right?
Yeah, most of them don't.
Most of them don't has nothing to do with them. Most people aren't millionaires. How many people aren't millionaires? Right?
It doesn't matter if they are or not. Most millionaires don't leave their non-spouses money.
Based on statistics.
Oh my gosh. Look, let her find out on her own. Okay. Let her find out on her own.
I heard your position. How many men do you think out here are not having sex? There's statistics on this. How many men aren't having sex, right? Probably a lot. It's a nice amount of men who just aren't sexually active, aren't having sex. What do that got to do with me? Nothing at all. I will never be in that position, right? So I think that when we talk about, oh, most people don't, why is that relevant to these?
This is why women get sucked into stuff. To listen to this, your type of rhetoric right now is the reason why women are the last will lose. Again, when that child just say the child turned 18, he gonna be gone. He got to leave her nothing. He probably can leave her stuff now, because of course she'll have to be the head of a lot of stuff with the child being underage. But when the child get 18, you'll be surprised what people do to you at the end of life. So this is the problem I don't understand. Y'all got to stop falling for this stuff. Stop falling for this.
You know how stupid a woman has to be with a millionaire, multi-millionaire for 18 years and to have his kid, and for him to, like, let's say he dies after 18 years and she can't provide for herself. You know,
you know what? That's on her.
To be for
That's
18 years to have a baby with a multi-millionaire, and for you to not have nothing after y'all break up in 18 years.
But that's on her though.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's on her. But okay.
All right, we get some other folks in there. Naomi, Bo, Shan, Hink, Louise.
I can say that the whole legacy thing, as it relates to him, there may be some things that kid may have that other kids can't. But when I mean, it's important. We're speaking on panels, but that's just a situation. And everybody ain't marrying Mario or in a relationship with Mario. Most people are not, right? And that's just, if I'm going to give anybody, it's going to be from the top down. Like, that's just not, to me, a good situation to be in. And this is a lived experience. I'm a baby mama, you know, it's a lived experience. I'm talking from my standpoint, like what I've seen, even from people in a situation like me. It's just not, if you can get married and do it, I think that that's the better option. That's just my opinion.
Right.
Well,
go ahead, Mom. Go Hank. Go ahead, Hank.
No, she can go in.
So there's a difference between Mario and then everyone else. I think it depends on the man and where he has in his life, where he's at in his life. Most men, like my age and over, you know, like I'm 39, so in their late 30s, 40s, who are single, they've already gone through a divorce. So it may take them longer to want to commit to marriage. Now, I'm not saying go past like 2-3 years, because a mature man's going to know. I believe that a mature man's going to know. He's going to see a woman. He's going to be like, yeah, you know what? He's going to have those intentional conversations. And if he's not, well, he's not. But majority of men who are older have already experienced a divorce. And in that first divorce, they experience such a loss. And when you get divorced, it's usually the man who has, depending on children, you know, but it's the man who has to like end up paying for like 2 households and this like that. So I understand the reluctancy of marriage when people are older. As far as Mario, I think we also need to understand who he is, as far as like him being a celebrity. How many celebrities do you know that they get married and then they get divorced within the first like 3 to 5 years, and then the woman walks off with like poof, all this other money? We see it all the time on this panel. We talk about it all the time on this panel about a woman who divorced a man and now she's a millionaire, or you know, she has all this money. Football stars, celebrities, music artists, we see and hear it all the time, especially if she doesn't have like her own thing going, you know, like J-Lo and stuff like that. If she don't have her own thing going, she's gonna take him. And then if they have a baby, like boom, it's gonna be a wrap. So I understand his reluctancy of him saying, hey, I'm gonna wait, you know, 5 to 10 years or something like that. That's the conversation she's gonna have with him. And then, you know, go past that. I understand him wanting to wait a little bit longer because, I mean, he's Mario. I mean, come on. But outside of that, in where like us regular median, you know, earning people, I think that you have to have the understanding of where they're coming from, especially if a man has already been married. Most men have already been married and they're divorced. But a man who desires marriage again, he'll have that conversation with you. But if he does not, because there are some men who got married and now they're divorced and they don't want to get married again. And that's when women just kind of tie themselves to them, like, oh, okay, we can just be in a long-standing relationship type of thing. And then that's an understanding and a compromise that they come to. But we have to, you know, take into consideration all of those things as well. I understand the 2 and 3 year mark, but we have to, if we're going to be honest about it, this is a real conversation that you got to have with that person. And what I'm hearing is like, there aren't a lot of people who are communicating and speaking with transparency and honesty. Like, hey, you know what? Like, we're just going to do this and then be out, or, you know, that you're not having the hard conversations. And if you're not having the hard conversations up front and you're not requiring those hard conversations up front, then you don't really get to cry about the results afterwards, especially if you're a woman and you're not married, and especially if it's something that you wanted.
No, Luis is trying to get in there. Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, I keep hearing this word about mature or maturity, and it just keeps playing back in the back of my head consistently. And sort of, I wonder to myself, like, are we producing less and less mature people today? Do we have less mature and responsible people today? Because it just seems like it's a lot of immature, unprepared individuals out here who are creating a muck, right? That's what it sounds like. And if that's the case, then I can't align with this idea that most men have been married. Most men have not been married. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like maybe 30% of some men have been married. I think the rest of them are single. I think the rest of them are childless. I think the rest of them are going through life and doing whatever they need to do. But I don't think most men, are have been married. I think some men are taking L's. I think some men are out here losing, in life. But this has been a growing trend. So I don't know. Like when I hear the word maturity, I just find it that there's a lot of people out here who are operating in that same aspect, whether it's dating or just how they handle their life.
All right, go ahead, Bo. Hank.
So I'm gonna say what I always say. We are trying to apply simple solutions to complicated situations. Yes, it's true that a lot of men do not want to be married and don't say anything. It's also true that women stay with men for far too long hoping for marriage. All of these things are true. Um, but we have to understand that some people want to just be together for a long time before they get married. Some people agree on that. Some people don't, and some people don't communicate that. Women go along to get along. Men also go along to get along. There are some men that reluctantly get married. And so we do all of these things. Also, I just want to address no, we don't have more immature people now. Our parents and grandparents were very immature. What they did was got married anyway and traumatized the shit out of us because they didn't know what they were doing. But they just were married and they bought houses and had careers. But they, in effect, themselves were very immature because they didn't know what they were doing, just like we don't. This is not something that's different. At least we're trying to figure it out. At least we can admit to ourselves that maybe we're not mature enough to have kids. Like some people are like, I ain't ready for that. And so people are waiting longer to have kids because they themselves don't want to be in a position that their parents were in and traumatize the shit out of their kids. I feel like we should be putting up money for our kids to pay for their therapy because y'all shouldn't have had kids when y'all had kids. A lot of the people that did. And y'all owe them people some money. So no, we're not making more immature people. We are making more aware people that maybe handle situations not so well. But I think that with kids out of it, I think that the lowering birth rates, the declining birth rates are beneficial because it is producing less people who are traumatized by people who are not able to have kids, who should not be having kids.
Go ahead, brother Hank.
Well, I think just as far as this situation, look, you got people who doesn't want to get married, don't believe in it, don't it is what it is, and that's cool. Just accept it what it is. Look, I'm not going. Anybody who doesn't want to get married, I'm not going to sit there and say, "Man, you should go out there." No, I'm not going to. That's not my. I'm not going to have a conversation because I'm wasting my breath on my time having a conversation with those type of individuals. But if individuals who are looking and trying, I want to, then I can have a conversation with you. I'm not going to waste your time and try to convince you into doing something that's not for you to. That's not what you want to do. I'm not going to try to guilt you into it. I'm not. So if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But what we are seeing in this situation with Marion looks like that's what that woman wants. But he's not trying to give that to her. So he's okay with just, I guess, being a baby daddy and making her a baby mama. He's okay with it. Now, the question everyone's going to have to ask herself, is she going to stay with this? Is she going to try to wait him out? Man, praying, hoping that something, changes his mind and to convince him into marrying or rewarding her, as he calls it. I don't know. Is he worth it? I don't know. That's a question she got to answer. That's the only person gonna figure out is her. She gonna have to answer that question. If that was my daughter, and if that's what you require, I wouldn't be with him. If he's not looking to do it, I wouldn't tell her to be with him. I said move on, and y'all just have to figure a way, have to co-parent somehow, some way, because that's not what he's looking for. That's not what he wants. You may require it, and unfortunately, you gave up your ass to him, gave this man a baby, and so now you have to deal with it, and praying, hoping he's a decent, upstanding type man and a great father. You hoping doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just look at it 10, 12 years down the road, they decide, because people change their mind all the time. We all have that right to do so, okay? We say that now, he say that's his partner now, but we've seen it all along, all the time. You know, people say, yeah, that's my partner, that's my guy, that's my woman, I'm down for them. Next thing you know, they part ways. And 10, 15 years down the road, they part ways. She gets absolutely nothing. She has to be give it to her. Now she's at the mercy of him giving it to her, you know, whether or not this is the mother of my child. I want to make sure she's okay for the rest of her life. She's at the mercy of whether or not he gonna give it to her, and it depends on how that ends. So, you know, I think that people can do whatever they want to do. I have no problem with that. Of course, I did a long-term relationship, you know, again, but I have a problem with people knowing they want to get married and then they stick these type of situations out. That is the issue, because they will be the ones, you know, with gray hair complaining, I should have married him. You know, so I just have a problem with the complainers. Not that they want to do, because he already said he didn't want to get married. So any woman that get with him got to understand that. It ain't no change in his mind. I wouldn't even try to change his mind at
He
all,
never said
period. No, not you, but I'm saying in general. I wouldn't, you know, some people, especially us women, try to stick it out as if eventually they're going to marry us. Who was that? The lady? That's the lady?
Yeah, that's his woman.
Okay, well, she definitely ain't going nowhere. So, you know, but, but I'm just saying, she got to be okay with that at the end result.
Why do you think she ain't going nowhere? Because of
I mean,
complexion?
yeah, for real. I'm not going to lie.
God damn.
Yeah, for real. I ain't going to lie. Yeah. I'm just saying, I know y'all want to hear it, but that's just the truth.
Jesus Christ.
I think. Oh,
Go ahead.
I was about to say, like, a man of this type of stature, if you're a man and you're a millionaire, like, and people are trying to guilt you into making one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make, and leveraging your current earnings and your future earnings and your sanity, you know, with something like marriage within a small time frame. I don't think that's healthy. I think I don't know. And I'm a man who I love marriage. I love the idea of marriage and stuff like that. But if we're just like, oh, you don't like, and this is coming from most of the time be coming from people with no money, who don't understand money, who don't understand assets. Like most people who get married, like, and we be telling women to get married, like most of them gonna get some type of security, and these niggas be broke anyway. Like most marriages, and y'all not going to marry, y'all not going and like sitting down, y'all both got lawyers and y'all really trying to come up with like, oh, you know, I want the beach house. And like most of these people, like most of these women ain't doing that. They just getting a solid divorce and they just, you know, calling it quits. So I don't know. And most marriage, like the 50%, like 40 to 50% of marriages end anyway. And we trying to keep forcing people to get married fast. Like, I don't know.
I think that, you know, even because you were saying a lot of people don't have money, but even if we look at millionaires and billionaires, right? They're all married. Even if they get a divorce, they go back and they get married again. So it's obviously something about marriage that is of importance, right? It could be the stability of it all. It could be simply you want to raise your legacy strong so they can continue your name. You want them to be as strong as possible because that's the one thing that's going to outlive you, right? And to carry it on. So I don't think he doesn't get a pass just because he's Mario. I think that's I just don't think that. Now, absolutely, you can't force it. At the end of the day, if she knew he didn't want to get married, and I'm pretty sure that was something he said very early on, then that's her fault. You're with somebody who is not aligned with you. You guys have different goals, right? But at the end of the day, like Dr. O said, it does seem like she wants to get married. And so my advice came from somebody who heard, indirectly, it was implied that maybe she wants to get married. And this is the advice I would give to her, knowing that she wants to be married. Right. So,
you know what advice I would give to a woman who's getting a man of that stature, who wants to be married, and he's telling her, like, maybe let's give it some time. I would tell her to be smart about, how she invests her money, and be smart about how she goes about her life and things like that. Like, because I would never tell her, leave him, you'll find another one. Like, no, like, you got you a good man, like, stick it out and just be smart with what you do with your money. Like, if you got a man with those type of resources, like the girl who was dating 50 Cent or whoever, like, if you have access to this type of men, leverage their money, leverage their money, leverage their network, leverage all of these things. Like, a lot of women just want to sit on a butt and be house girlfriends, which is cool if that's what they want to do. But like, just having access, if I didn't have to pay bills right now, you know how much money I would have in a few years if I just didn't have to pay my bills? What? Yeah, so
I agree with you. So when we gave out advice to women earlier, this is a totally different situation, because now we're talking about a baby mama, right? And I would agree with you. At this point, my advice to her would to be a great co-parent very well. Don't cause no drama. Let this man be involved with his children, have a connection with his children, be as easygoing as possible, reasonable, all that drama, put it aside. And then maybe, so I wouldn't tell her to be quick to leave like the previous conversation, because this is a totally different scenario, so to speak.
Go ahead, Bo.
So this is what is so dangerous about how people speak about this subject. Y'all would tell a woman who has been dating a guy since she was 22, 23, and after 9 years being together, living together, having a whole life, y'all would tell her to leave him. Just because it's been 9 years. Y'all don't know what that conversation has been like. You don't know what the intentions of that man is. And y'all would tell her to leave a man that she has built her life with, she is okay with, just because you think women should prioritize marriage in the first 1 to 2 years.
I said, I get what your point, but no, I said,
why are we doing?
Hold on. I said I don't have a problem with two people that don't want to get married. I have a problem if she wants to get married and she start complaining about it.
Control yourself, because I'm still talking.
I didn't know that, baby. I'm working. Okay, my bad.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, and y'all would tell her to give up an entire life that she has built. And after that 9 years, right? Because you would have told her after 1 to 2, putting things into her ear about that man don't want to marry you. That man not finna marry you. He ain't asked you to marry him yet. Y'all would, like, women like that would speak negatively over that. You would talk her out of one of the best marriages ever. Because after 9 years, that woman got married. They had a house together. They had the house together, bought the house together, had the house, renovated the house 2 times, right?
Who are we referring to?
I'm sorry. Hold on. Finally had a son. And both of them have traveled very well, have done very well for themselves, has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life. And the best husband, takes care of his kid, is an active father, has the kid more than she does, fixes the house with his own 2 hands. You know, the traditional men y'all are talking about. Fixes the house, literally renovated the house with his own 2 hands, and does all of the things, fixes the things around the house, does all of the things, cleans up, helps with all of the house chores. She has an ideal life. And women, just because their woman had not been proposed to in a couple of years, would have talked her out of that relationship. That man is my brother, and that woman is my sister-in-law. I have seen this situation work. I didn't know why they didn't get married until 9 years later. It's none of my business. I just knew they had a nice life, and they agreed on whatever they agreed on. But we have to realize that there are relationships going on that don't look like you date, you get married in a couple of years, you have kids shortly after that. There's so many beautiful relationships that happen that don't happen the way we think as a society it's supposed to happen. And that's just my
Oh yeah, I want to answer that. I do apologize earlier. I am working. Lapeef know that I'm working from home, and I have you in one ear, and then I have my customers in another ear. So I do apologize. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I thought you were done. So, but the thing was, nobody said that. Nobody said they would tell a woman to leave a relationship after 9 years if she wanted. Because I'm not against I'm against a woman complaining about it. I'm against had they not got married and she complained about that. She wanted it. She desired it. If she's okay in that situation, that is on her. Nobody has said that.
And I think they were referring to that's not the story of my friend who's in a relationship for 7 years. I'm not gonna put her business out there, but it's not what you just said. So,
you know, if the shoe fits, Lady O, you took that thing and you put it right on. Ain't nobody. I don't think Bo said your name. I don't think nobody did that, but you put that shoe on.
It don't matter. I apologize because again, I'm working at the same time. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Hold on.
lady, better fix them folks' insurance. Stop talking to us. People up and I had the wrong insurance.
Yeah, for real. This man talking about some Hold on, I'm trying to mute and everything. That's what I'm saying. My bad. Let me go back on mute.
And Shane, I didn't hear your story. I didn't. I just was like,
I think that's what I brought up a story about my friend who's been in a relationship with just being carried, in her situation, they don't live together. So when you have all that going on, I guess it's a little different. That's not their situation.
Yeah. I want to bring light to the fact that we have so many different things going, like people have so many different relationships going on. Wonderful, long-lasting relationships could look so different. You can get married after 2 weeks and it lasts forever. You can get married after 15 years and it lasts forever. Like, we have to stop telling people that relationships work a specific way. We have to do what's comfortable and feasible for us all.
Go ahead, sorry.
And be honest with each other. Like, I just think it's a lot of lying going on. There's a whole lot of lies going on. That's what I think.
That's the part, Bo. I think the lot, right? Because I agree with you. I know friends who are in relationships. They're like life partners. Life partners are thing. Even Dr. O stated that she's looking for a life partner. She's not looking to be married. So there are people out there who are okay. We were just talking about people who want to be married. Like that's their goal. It's like no ifs, ands, but whether because God, they don't want to live in sin, whatever it is. Those are the people we were tuning in, but we do know that there are people that may not be their goal. They may be okay with just living with each other. Like I said, being a life partner. There are those people.
No, yeah. I mean, like the lies that I'm talking about are literally like women who lie about, oh, it's okay. Like I can wait. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like those lies, or men who know women want to get married and they just lie to them to keep them around. Like there's so many lies going on, people who are not being real with the people that they are around. And so then it causes so much conflict. You're unhappy, you make them unhappy. Like just tell people the truth so people can move on, or you just tell yourself the truth so you can just move on.
Let me get to some more of this video. Then I come. Go ahead, Naomi. Go ahead, Naomi, and then Dope.
I think that's a really, really important thing. I've seen a lot of women who, single women keep other women single or turn them single, because there's no understanding for the relationship. And the fact of the matter is, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And when we're giving our opinions and perceptions of things, of what we think it should and shouldn't look like, I think we negate the fact that there are a lot of people who, like Bo said, this is an agreement that they made. And so if the woman who is not liking the agreement, if she's not speaking yet she's complaining, then she's the problem. And if the man who really doesn't desire marriage is not saying, hey, well, I really don't want marriage, I just want somebody to warm my bed, or even just have like a long distance relationship, then he's the one who's the problem. And I think if we set our own standards or things like that onto relationships, I've seen some amazing relationships just crumble because of an outside perspective that comes in and said, okay, well, why are you not married? Type of thing. And it leads to such a discord in the relationship when there was already such a level of peace and understanding. And that's where I'm now seeing where, like, to what Bo was saying, if you're not having these conversations in the relationship, if there's a lack of communication, then it will cause a discord. Because a woman who is solid in where she's at, actually, I know where I'm at with him, and she's already confirmed that, then he's already validated it, you're not gonna be able to say anything to knock her off her square, no matter what your perspective is, no matter what you say. And the same thing with him. If he's already solid in where he's at, then you're not going to be able to say anything to knock him off his square. But there's such a lack of communication, just as far as in relationships, and then outside, everybody feels like they have an opinion to a relationship that they're not involved in.
Right. And you're right about that, Naomi. You're 100% right about that. I think that if you look at Goldie Hawn, oh, my bad. I'm terrible. This is why I'm not. Let me drop down.
No, you're good. Just give me a second. And that's where I wanted to bring it back to, is that if you are more inclined to listening to what other people are saying outside of your relationship, outside of your understanding, if you're not communicating to your partner you're supposed to be in a relationship with, then you on the losing end. And then if you're listening to people outside of your relationship to validate your relationship, then you both are on the losing end. Because I don't know how many times we sit here and everybody has an opinion for something that they're not involved in. They're not helping wash your clothes, and they're not feeding you, fucking you, or financing you, and make that make sense.
All right, I'm gonna drop down after this only because every time I get a break from a customer, I'll be trying to talk and you talk. I'm sorry, but I do want to say this. You're right about that. You look at like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. They've been together 30-some years. 30-some years. They never look at their relationship, so it can work. They have kids together and everything. It works for them. I'm not against that. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, they've been together 35 years. Mm-hmm. They got a ring and everything. They just never ever married on paper. I'm okay. Like, again, I was married and I did a 13-year relationship. I'm okay with not getting married. That's just my personal opinion. I'm good. I'm talking about the ones that complain about it. I'm talking about the ones that desire marriage and they end up sticking it out with people who know married them. That's who I come after. I don't care if you don't want to get married. That's totally on you. You just get what you get at the end of the day. But like you say, I think I heard somebody up here earlier, if it's Bo or Naomi, that said, people lie. And people lie. People hide. They suppress their feelings. They know they want to get married, but then they just stick it out with somebody. Then 10 years down the road, it don't work out. And then he go out here or she go out here and marry somebody else after 2 years. And then you're hurt and you're mad because he didn't marry you. That is the issue that I have. You have to be okay with that if that happened because you stuck with that person for so long. And that's all I want to say to that. Yeah.
Real fast, I want to make a point that sometimes you lie to yourself. Some of these women think they can change that man's mind, and you sitting there lying to yourself. The man
Correct.
told you he didn't want to be married, and you feel like you can change his mind. If I stick in there, he gonna change his mind. So you got this little la la land thing going on in your head, because women be delusional sometimes. I know y'all how y'all do. And guess what? He ain't about to marry you. He's not.
Let me insert some more video. We're almost done with this video, so bring up some more. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but wait. Okay, now we can move on. Go ahead. What's the next part that you need me to explain to you? Go ahead.
I just, for me, I get what you're saying. You're like, okay, I'm going to commit to her because we're having a child. But you don't think that, I'm just trying to understand for men these days.
I can't speak for men.
Okay, for you
me.
as a man,
all right, thank you.
Why these days the norm is to make her a mother before making her a wife.
How is that a norm?
It is the norm because that's what's happening. There's more.
Because I think that the age of Aquarius is entering.
Okay.
We're in the age of Aquarius, and it's about real.
Oh, that was funny.
It's about real. All these smoke and mirrors about and listen, this has nothing to do with trauma. This has nothing to do with. If I had grown up in a perfect household with I would still think this way, because I do feel like you need. So okay, here we go. Follow me here, okay?
Okay.
You meet someone.
Okay.
You fall in love with him in 2 months. In 6 months, y'all want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know anything about each other, really.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 2+ years. And if you're with someone who's working in entertainment, they have 5 different faces.
Mm-hmm.
They have no choice.
Okay.
Or else they won't grow. They'll be miserable. They won't know how to compartmentalize their lives, right? So you have to get to know the personal side, those sides, and then you got to understand how do they manage life going through all these different portals and versions of themselves, right? So you get married in a year, fall in love 2 months, say you want to get married, get engaged 6 months, get married in another 6 months, right? You're married. Certain things are happening you did not sign up for.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're going through this, you're like, yo, oh my God, I can't take this. We're going to do this. But because you are married, in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm stuck with this person. I have to figure out. We got to figure it out. You're going through all these different things and problems and issues. But the thing that's on the back of both of your minds is, I'm stuck with this person. No human wants to feel stuck, even if they are. So that psychologically, I'm telling you what I think. Psychologically, I think marriage already puts this kind of bar where as though you feel like if you go through something until you get a divorce, you won't know if it's right or wrong. It's and then when you do that, you realize damn, we might have only needed a month break. We might only need 2 weeks to just kind of get ourselves together and we're gonna be back. And then other people get involved, and then lawyers get involved, and then friends get involved. Hold on, can I finish?
Okay.
Thank you. And then lawyers get involved, and then these people get involved, and then now it might have been 1 or 2 things said that ruined the whole marriage, and now this and because of the egos, it's irrevocable.
Mm-hmm.
And so, marriage to me creates, until you get to know someone and until you make it through certain challenges in the relationship, I don't think that it's backwards. I think that a child could actually fast forward that in some cases. I'm not saying have a child with just anyone, but if you can afford to have a child, if you can afford to take care of a woman, if you can afford to, if your life awards you the comfort between both of you to do that, I don't think that that's wrong doing that first. I think it's about how you guys govern your relationship and how y'all both govern each other, how y'all coexist together. So yeah, I think marriage can add, in some cases, not for everyone. You got couples that's been married for, but we know the numbers, right? We see the ratio of divorces. I think that in today's age, it's better to wait and take your time than to rush into it. Just because the Bible says so, or any other spiritual book, or your parents, or that don't matter. It's your life. You have to do what's best for you and your partner. No, go ahead. Why do you disagree?
Yeah, I think King's face.
Nigga. Okay.
Hold on, Bo.
Go ahead.
Mark, you was defending this clown, and he tried to. You gave this woman raw dick, but you think marriage is gonna be a problem. Do you stuck with her for life? So now you don't know what type of woman is gonna be raising your child. You don't know what type of woman you bringing into your family because she's part of your family now. Once you gave us help for your baby, she's part of your family, whether you like it or not. You stuck with her to the end of your days. You are stuck with her, even after he grows up, be a grown man, and your child may one day decide to get married or have kids, and y'all have to intertwine for the rest of your life. You was willing to do all that. That don't make sense to me. But what's your problem with about marrying her? You gave this woman your body,
It makes sense to me.
This is great. His logic doesn't make sense to me, Mont. But I know you'll defend it because
I can't just give my perspective. I got to be defending it.
No, because you already was defending him earlier, and now as we hear more and more of this clip, he doesn't make sense to me. But I think Bo was gonna go next. So
go ahead, Bo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get Bo, and let's get True in there because he just joined. I'm curious to see what his thoughts are. Will,
you're stuck with it? Let me tell you something. If you feel like you're going to be stuck, if your mind tells you I'm stuck, whether I want to be or not, I'm stuck, please don't get married. As a matter of fact, run the other way. Don't have a baby with that woman. Don't do nothing. Go the other way. Don't even put a condom on. No condom needed. Just keep your phallus to yourself. Don't even worry about it. Because if marriage in your brain says stuck, you don't want to be married.
Bo, I think you heard him wrong.
That woman, huh?
I think you may have heard him wrong.
I didn't hear nothing wrong.
What I heard was once you find out that once you are married and then you start realizing certain things that this person that you didn't sign up for, he said, oh, now people don't want to feel like they're stuck with that person after they realize things.
No, I heard him.
Okay.
He gave her a baby.
That's what I'm saying. So you sign up for everything when you get married. You're signing up for everything. There are things that you didn't know that you were going to be signing up for. Marriage signs you up for that. You have to be prepared for anything. And stuck is the word. Having a baby by someone before deciding to get married to them, that makes you stuck with someone. Deciding marriage, that is a decision. You are saying, I'm willing to do whatever. I'm willing to go through whatever. I mean, within reason, right? Because we don't want to stay for unhealthy things. But like sickness, health, financial problems, all of that, you have to stay through that. No, you didn't sign up for it, but now you got to figure it out. And if in fact it's a healthy relationship in every other aspect, you have to figure out how to go through that. It just is what it is.
Are you done? I want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that we basically Mario was ready to have a child. She was the great person for the job, and here we are. That's what it sounds like to me, And there are people like that, So I mean, we were talking about the Goldie. What's her last name? I forgot. Their situation is totally different. That's two people coming together saying, marriage is not for us, but we're going to do life together. That to me is a commitment, a solid commitment that you're in it through thick and thin, right? This does not sound like that. This doesn't sound like that at all. And I understand he's like, I'm a celebrity. I go through many these different things, Basically, today I'm one way. Tomorrow, I may not want the same thing I want today. And I don't want to be stuck into something today that I may not want tomorrow. But I do want a kid. And I think she would be a great mother for my kid to carry on my legacy. That's what
simple. So simple, Shan. Like the man is 40 years old. Y'all mean to tell me
Is he 40?
he's 39? Yup. Y'all mean to tell me if this man wants a kid and he wants like that, he gotta wait until he feel like he want? What if it take him another 10, 20 years to feel like he want to marry a woman? Then he have no. We are human beings. I understand a lot of people subscribe to the Bible, right? A lot of y'all describe whatever book y'all subscribe to. You're like, oh, I like this book. Whatever book y'all subscribe to, objectively, none of them are natural. The only thing that we can absolutely know objectively as natural is you putting your penis inside of a vagina. That's naturally going to happen. We're human beings. We're going to do it. You can't slip and fall into a marriage. You can absolutely slip. Now we got a baby. We're human beings. We're going to fuck. Like, you can't slip into a marriage. Like, I think that it's more of a if I'm the type of person, when I get married, I never want to get a divorce. I prefer not to get a divorce, right? I want to just make sure that it's the right thing to do. Other people not like that, which is why most people just end up getting a divorce. If you believe that it's spouse over child, right? If you believe that you put your wife over your kid, then you understand that this is the partner that I'm choosing for the rest of my life. This is the person that I'm choosing to be there on my deathbed. If I can't walk 2 years from now, this is going to be the person taking care of me. If you come up with breast cancer, I'm going to be the person there for you. If your mom dies, I'm going to be the person there when you can't handle certain things because you don't have the mental stability in that moment to take care of those things, right? And that's where I step up, right? Your baby mom is not, y'all not married, y'all not going to be stuck together forever. You don't even got to be stuck with your kids forever. It's plenty of people be like, yo, my kids decided to do something that I am against. They're a completely different person than I expected them to be. And I'll probably never end up talking to my kid again. You not stuck with these people. Y'all just had a kid together like human beings are supposed to do. Like every single animal on this planet is supposed to do. We supposed to have kids.
Oh, let me get True in there. Go ahead, True.
What's going on, people? I just came to hang out with you guys. Great topic. You haven't broadcasted in a while on Sunday, JR. Is that because of the football season?
I just been moving around, man. That's all. Everything's going on.
Jabbing.
Yeah, I caught this Mario interview a few days ago. It's his opinion. My outlook on marriage current day sadly has actually changed. I mean, I was raised, my parents are still together. They've been together 42 years. So I grew up in that foundational marriage is the way. But I also have grown to understand that there's a lot of layers to it. It's like buying a home. Like, the idea sounds great until you get it. And then 6, 7, 8 years in, I'm not saying things change, but it's just, like Mont said, people gotta, I guess, do what works for them. If this woman feels value in Mario to hang around for however many years, have his baby, whatever, that's her business. That's his business. I think more men, in my opinion, would be inclined to get married a lot faster if they weren't set up to lose in the event that a divorce happened. And unfortunately, you don't have a lot of women who come from structured households. You don't have a lot of women who have money, and what I find interesting is that the women who have the resources are less likely to get married compared to the ones who were broke, and then forcing the man who does have resources to get married. I always find that very, very interesting. But that's what I'll say for now.
True, Shannon, I see you doing your hand like this, and also see Naomi.
Because that's true. I agree with that. It'd be the broke ones ready to get married ASAP. Because I'm not really trying to give up my pension and my money, but okay, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about Mario. But so I understand it. But y'all don't believe in prenups like that. You don't think that they work? I've seen them work.
They do work. They do work. Most people don't have the knowledge to make sure that they do it the right way. That's all.
People go cheap on the attorney. You need to get somebody who's good at this, who knows, a celebrity attorney. This is what they do to write.
Yeah, see, I don't.
Because I feel like the kids are going to cost more because kids, no matter what, you're going to have to pay for those, right?
Yeah, I don't think
prenup can't get you out of child support.
Listen, okay. More people spend more money on a wedding than they do the attorney for a prenup. That's crazy.
See,
they spend more money on the wedding.
We're not even thinking about the goddamn kids. I know Mont says fuck the kids, and some other people got that same goddamn mindset. Y'all don't give a shit about the kids.
They don't.
I don't want to have a child with a retarded ass woman that you say you don't know, that you have no idea. I don't want that. But that's what I'm hoping for. Because more than likely, she's gonna have custody of the child. Marion's a performer, and he's gonna be on the road. He's gonna have to leave that kid with her. And so now he's relying on a woman who he will be considered stuck if I marry this heifer. And she's gonna be the one majority raising my kids. Ain't no way I'm gonna trust my child, my offspring, with a woman who I feel like I'm stuck with if I marry her. Hell no. But that's what certain people are okay with. Just dropping a baby in any goddamn type of woman. That's crazy. I don't understand it. But like y'all say, fuck them kids. I don't believe in it, but so be it.
I can give you an example of a mom. Like, I think that Shador Sanders and all them, I think that they probably have a good mom from what I can tell. I think their mom loves them, and I think they do what she's supposed to do.
Good woman, man.
Oh, I don't know about her being a good wife. Hold on real quick. Her being a good wife and a good woman, I think Dion is like, no, I don't think that she's for me, to be my wife and my woman. But I think that he's fine with her being the mother of his kids. I don't think that he's, they having any other issues. But I don't know. She's from outside looking in. Okay.
He's not.
She seemed cool.
He did some crazy stuff to him.
As in a relationship, but I'm talking about like the difference between mom versus.
The kids are seeing that in the relationship. They're seeing him going through that. They're exposed to that. So that's, to me, that's not a good parent, a good mother, a good father, whatever. If I'm dealing with both, I'm married to Bo, and we have a child, and my son or daughter sees me whooping Bo's ass, you think he makes me a good father? Well, I still take care of him, I provide for him, but I'm gonna whoop the goddamn mother's ass in front of him. That's a bad parent. That is a piss poor parent. Ain't no way I would give him that title. So look, I'm not gonna go down this road with Dion. He's not even a subject conversation. But to me, I don't want to have a child with a trash ass woman. If I was a woman, I wouldn't want to have a child with a trash ass dude. But that's what you're pretty much saying, because she could be that. We don't know what she is. We don't. He barely knows her. He barely went. He even used the words, I feel like I will be stuck. When I hear you use that words, that means there's a problem there. Because there's a possibility she can go left. And yet I'm stuck with this woman for 18 plus years. For the rest of my life, and I gave a baby to this crazy ass woman, and this baby could pour that poisonous mindset that she has my daughter if that's a girl, or my son if he's a boy. There's no way I would want that for my child. No way.
You don't think that a woman can be a decent mom and not a good partner?
Yes, I do. I believe that. Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm saying is that Mario can identify maybe this woman I think could be a decent mom, but as far as her being for me for the rest of my life, I'm gonna take some more time.
Then why give her a baby?
Because maybe he saw she could be a decent mom.
But he has so many options. Like
he has no idea. He has no idea until she becomes a mom. He has none. He's assuming.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
but
say
if she's not a good enough person to be your significant other,
that's true.
Make you think he can read ahead of the time in the future. Oh yeah, well she's gonna be a good mom. I'm assuming. Why? Because she knows how to take care of Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
Does she have any kids prior to him? Has she shown she's been a mother before? Is he a future baby daddy? I mean, already baby mama prior to Mario getting with her? I don't know. Show me.
I don't think that's fair to say. Oh, if there's no history of her having a kid, that we don't know if she'd be a good mom. That's not.
I think that's technically correct, though. We can assume because
you show a nurturing spirit about that, though, man. That's what I'm saying. And if he already feels like there's no nurturing spirit about it, because he feels like I don't feel like I could be with her because she ain't gonna be able to take care of me, because I feel like I'm stuck if I get with her, marry her. Why impregnate her ass?
It's not that simple. It's not that simple. And
it is. Just like it is. Put a condom on.
What I'm saying is,
or have her use birth control, or take a plan B if that's the case. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is simple.
Yeah,
like y'all said about any other. Like I think somebody says earlier about a relationship. It's simple.
Yeah,
we make it harder. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair for people to say that if a man looks at a woman and he's like, "Yo, this could be a good mother," based on whatever metrics he uses, right? For him to say, "Well, you don't know if she'll be a good mother." Well, obviously, yes, I don't know for a fact. However, what we do is we look at other things to judge if somebody would be, this person would be good in business with me. oh, this person would be a good wife, or this person would be a good mom. Like it's reasonable for people to do that, and we do it all the time. Like Hank, before you had a kid, you can say that your wife didn't know that she was going to be a good dad because you didn't do it yet, right? But she saw certain things, she heard how you talk, maybe where you came from, and she put them together and said, oh, I think this is a safe decision.
That's correct.
I'm not sure if True was done from earlier. True, you want to finish? You know?
No, like I know I'm just listen to what everybody's saying. I guess like, when I hear everybody talking, I'm glad that marriage is still something that people feel honorable about. But I guess, are we exploring the idea that the concept of it may need to change, may need to be altered, may need to be, manipulated to like when I'm listening to even Mont say certain things, you don't know. You never know when you're dealing with a person. No one can see that far in the future. Things happen, people change, whatever, right? But I when I was listening to you guys, I was thinking, I was like, how, if you're introducing kids into your relationship, right? How would they know or not know if you were married? Like, let's just say you guys were to build together, grow together, then you start having a family. How, if the household is structured like it is a marriage, what would be the difference? Like, outside of wedding pictures.
The last names probably. So most of the thing about it is you may have a point in that, but a lot of people are not living with their baby moms. It's not like they're living in the same household. Some of them are, but most of them aren't.
Well, I'm not talking about baby moms and baby dads per se. I'm saying that, like, let's take off the legality of marriage for a second. You're talking about people who want to be together. I think I've heard Lady O say it. People who want to do life partnership together, and they structure their household like they're married. You can change your last name for what, like $200, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it too much?
What? I think it's like $200, something like that. But what would stop that household from functioning under the guides of principle and honesty? Why the legality part of it? I heard you say, Shan, about the prenup, and yeah, unless you've ever been to family court, it's hard to understand how them lawyers are. They're designed to extract resources. That's what the court is for. It's not for family progress. It's not for protecting the children. It's to extract resources, unfortunately.
Well, I know several people who have been in that situation, and their prenups did do a decently good job in that situation. But to go back to your original point, I think that can work. I think people are bailing out of those. That's why we use the celebrity. I forgot Goldie. What's her last name? I keep remembering. Goldie. What's Goldie?
Hawn.
They do a good job. They're partners when we see them together. And I think, what's the other guy's name? Ryan Gosling. They also have a partnership like that. I don't see anything wrong with that because they've made a solid decision to stay with each other. We know that they're together. We don't know they're married, what they got going on, but we know that they're together. That's not what's taking place out here.
It's taking place a lot.
People is bailing. They're not sticking in there. They're like, fucking kids. I got a new chick. That's not what's taking place. Now, if you had two people who this is what they agreed on, maybe we're going to keep the courts out of it. Maybe have like a little ceremony somewhere else, right? That doesn't have to do that. And they stick it out. Who would know the difference? Who would? The problem is we know the difference because your kids don't come out like they being parented by two people because they're not. Y'all live in two separate households. Your daddy doing his thing, mama doing her thing. And that's not what's taking place.
I guess we're having two different. I think we're having two different conversations. Then I'm under the mind that we're talking about people who are trying to stick together. You're talking about marriage. I would assume you would do this together, not baby mom, not baby dad. Yeah, that anytime you create life outside of structure and then you split households, you're gonna have disruption. It's hard to build unity in that manner. I think I just seen recently that Lil Wayne and his baby mom, his first one, was sitting down with their daughter, Reginae, on his podcast or something. And they were talking about like co-parenting. And some people in the comments were all celebrating it, like, this is how you do it correctly or whatever. And I don't know. I don't know if there's a correct or there's not a correct. I think
There is a
people
correct way to co-parent.
is there. Okay, maybe. I think that we're adults and we should be wise enough, hopefully mature enough, to be able to build a lifestyle that works. But it does. But like to your point, it doesn't seem like people are doing that. It seems like people are trying to get leverage over each other, and that's the problem. Like, don't come for me if we don't work out. Don't try to sit on my payroll if we don't work out. And that's why I firmly think that if more women get their money up, more men will get married faster. Because now we have somewhat of you have skin in the game. The problem is the imbalance. Like, you get to come into my world and benefit, and then if we don't work, you still get the benefit. What is the benefit on my end besides me taking care of you or dealing with your bloating or dealing with your emotions or dealing with the fact that now you don't want to be here no more and do your wifely duties or girlfriend duties or whatever, but you still want to sit on my payroll?
True. Are you speaking from a privilege standpoint? Like, because most people are not making enough to sustain a household and take care of a family without two people working. Most people.
I'm sure that to be true. I'm just speaking from the standpoint of wherever you are. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Most people aren't rich or wealthy, but I guess it still seems like there is, when it comes to this relationship thing, especially from
That's because we keep talking about celebrities. I don't know why we do that. We keep talking about
go ahead.
Everybody think they're a celebrity these days, you know.
Well, we was talking about Mario.
I wanna see Rihanna marry ASAP Rocky, and I doubt she will. And that's
But there's the answer. We just said that that's okay if they seem to be working together. They're always together like a family unit, right? Just like the Goldie Hawn's situation. Same thing. The problem is people are not doing that. You understand? It works when people solidly say, I want a life partner. I want to.
We're not preaching that though. Everybody's preaching marriage. They're not preaching lifelong partnership. They're not preaching
because they see it's not working. I think that
marriage is. Then we can see that marriage isn't working if half of the marriages aren't working.
The reason why I say that because most kids are born in a cohabitating situation. If you look it up, I think it was one review that said most Black kids are born in a cohabitating situation. It's just not working. It's like when the going gets tough, we get going.
It's the same thing with marriages. The going gets tough, you get going. Just almost half of first marriages just don't last.
Them kids gonna be better with them two-parent household.
I agree. Go ahead, True.
I just think we need to change some things. That's it. Like, I use the example of ASAP. Nobody pressuring Rihanna to marry ASAP. I think that's what I'm highlighting. Like, anytime it's the man in the prominent position and he got a woman and he just so happened to park her there for 6, 8, or 10 years, you hear the comments or the people are like, how you gonna waste her time? But if it's flipped like it is in this situation, nobody gonna clamor for Rihanna to marry ASAP. Nobody.
Because how we know Rihanna don't want marriage?
We don't, but we're speculating. It's assumption, right? I'm just saying that there still is this spirit that exists amongst the expectation. That woman got more money than him. We know that. Him marrying her financially, if they separate, he good, right? But that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Now flip it. If he was the billionaire and she was worth tens of millions, they'd be like, how you gonna waste Rihanna's time? How you gonna do her like that? That's the problem. Half of it is the fact that we got people now current day, because marriage is more about business than it is about love. We need to be honest. Get these women together to where they are coming into the situation, putting something on the table, literally. And then I think you wouldn't have so many people looking at marriage with such a sour, taste in their mouth, because the women are not complaining. It's the men. They're the ones dealing with the headaches. They're the ones dealing with the dissolution and having to carry things past the fact that now you're over it or whatever. But it's just interesting that when there's resources on the female side, they seem to know how to figure it out, or they seem to know how to avoid getting stuck in that situation, period. That man ain't gonna take my pension, like Shan just said about 20 minutes ago. I'm just saying. But
Like
I'll land.
partnership for Shan.
Well, Shan, in that case, you just get you a prenup.
It's I would. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna put it in writing, solidify. I believe in this. I think the justice system will work. I don't mind that.
Okay. Let me ask y'all this: do you think this marriage is a business like mentality? Do you think this is just something we see on the internet? Do you really think in real life, off the internet, that people are actually thinking this way? Okay.
Think in what way? Please be clarify.
As far as marriage is a business, I'm only going to marry to take his resources. So you guys don't think people are marrying because they truly feel that they love someone, that they want to spend the rest of their life, that they want to grow old together? Because we see like a lot of the negativity
here.
Like we feel like a lot of the negativity on the internet. But I've also heard that a lot of people that are happy don't even have time to be on the internet to complain. They're just living their lives. And so I'm just trying to see if we're being like brainwashed to think that marriage is not a big deal. Because like without the internet, like were people getting married like with these, or is it just something that we're seeing now? Like we're seeing what people are doing. It's like, oh, I want that too. And so the world has been slowly changing over to marriage as a business, or has it always been that way? I'm just trying to just add to the conversation and see if to maybe answer the question for somebody in the audience that may be watching.
I think that is the internet.
I think women.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I think men are marrying for love, and I think women are marrying for money, like for some sort of resource. I think, and not just for money, but also status. Women are marrying for both of those reasons, and I think men who don't necessarily benefit from marriage are like, okay, I love you, I know what I may be, opening myself up to, but I'm going to do this because I believe in love and I love you and I'm willing to do this. Women, like, even throughout this whole conversation, y'all want women to get married for security and stuff like that because they don't trust the men that they're with. You don't trust that man will take care of you. You don't trust that he'll do that. So you need him to sign his name on that paper for you to be like, all right, you good, girl. You got security. Like what Dr. Lady O was talking about when, you've been with him 10 years. You can't even get this from, it goes to his family. You can't get that. Y'all worried about the resources and the money. Men are worried about love.
That's not true. That's not true. Boy, bye. Let me tell you this. It's too many broke men out here got a woman beside them to be worried about some money. We are the lowest economically. I don't know if you know that. Most Black women are working in the household. Who married for money? I'm just saying, if we're going to marry for money, it wouldn't be somebody who is at the bottom economically. It'll be somebody at the top. Now, I will say a lot of women, some women, maybe the women that you're around, may be reaching for, because you would like a certain type of woman. But for the most part, the average woman is dating the average man. Average people get married every day, two income households, if we're being honest. Step outside the internet and into the real world. I see average people get married to average people every day.
I want to hop in here and say one quick thing right quick. uh, my thing is this here. Yeah, most people are literally broke, but then stop telling women they shouldn't go to school, get a degree then, goddamn, because y'all constantly running that shit by women and telling them, oh, they don't go to school, don't get a degree, rely on me. Then you need to hold yourself to it and stop whining like little bitches, okay? If you want to provide for a woman, then provide for her fully. If you can't, be quiet and let these women work and get a degree, get all types of degrees, and shut up. If you're going to complain about a freaking little funky Social Security that people gonna get, but it's still something if you gonna leave her. I'm just saying, y'all be all over the place, Black men. Okay, leave these women alone. Let these women get their degrees. And I'm just saying, because y'all cannot provide for them anyway. So what we talking about here? I'm just saying.
And we mean that in a very respectful way. We love our Black men.
Absolutely, we do.
Really quick question. Hold
on. We got Bo got to get in there. I'm dope, didn't you?
Y'all the most desirable. Even that's some powerful stuff.
Fight back, man.
We got to get Bo in to y'all.
We ain't got to take this.
I think that people are not in real life treating marriage like a business. They should, but I think that people are not taught what love is. We often want to marry for love, but we don't even know what that looks like.
Now
We don't
that's
even know how it can work because before us, marriage was an arrangement. And so it looked real good because it was literally like arranged. We've not seen very many people who married for love. And now we have to balance marrying for love because if I'm being honest, I want love. I want it to make sense, but I want to be in love. I don't want an arrangement. I don't want, you know, I you my life is comfortable because he pays these bills and I ain't got to worry and like I don't want a financial arrangement with a man. I truly want somebody that cares about me, but we don't know what that looks like for real. So we do need to treat marriage like a business because if you bring someone in, like for me being in business, you coming in to do business with me, I need to know what type of risk you are. I need to know what you're going to bring, how you are going to add to this, what you are going to do to move this along because marrying for love is cool and fine, but if someone is weighing on you and someone is draining you every day financially or through labor or whatever, like that's not going to work either. So you need to treat it like you're doing business with someone, like you're going into partnership in business with someone. You would check their financials, you would check to see what their contribution to the relationship is, what that contribution to the business would be. Like we need to think of it. What are your assets? What are your debts? What are your all of these things so that we can figure out what we're doing and how you benefit me because you don't want to be a burden on someone. But you do still have to balance that with love. If that's what you're looking for. If that ain't what you're looking for, by all means. But I'm looking for love. I'm looking for romance. I want the fairy tale. I don't care. I want all of it.
I got a question for y'all. So when
So my guys, my question real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
So since this is a business, I need to know how much experience you have. So I need to know how many bodies. Is that okay to ask then in this business?
No.
Oh, well, that's no. God damn it!
I'm not gonna ask you that.
You can
But I'm
ask
not.
that
Because that doesn't
right.
matter.
But this is a business, and I
Okay.
need to know your experience in this business. Go ahead, man. I'm just bullshitting.
No, I was going to ask because I think society, everybody, men and women, I think we pressure women to get married, and I want to know why are y'all pressuring women to do it, right? So, for example, before I was engaged, my lady would go outside, and people would ask her, "Wow, you are beautiful. Why aren't you married?" Right? My question is, when you ask a random woman that question, and you don't know her, you don't know anything about her, why are you asking her that? Are you asking her that for the purpose of you need some financial security, you need some status? What are you saying that woman is missing? And why are you asking her that question? So ain't none of y'all ever asked a woman that question? Ain't none of y'all ever seen a beautiful woman say, "Why ain't you married?"
Yep, they ask it all the time. Keep going. Keep pressing, dope.
I want to know, like, what are the reasons that y'all ask? Because I think that you're asking that question because
I think you
a
should
lot of
probably ask
women.
that, Mont.
You can ask the chat.
They ask all the time. That's the first thing they hit you with. That's why you're not married.
What's wrong with you?
That's their comeback.
That's an insult. They're not really inquiring. They typically are saying there's probably something wrong.
It's
Right.
not.
Well, what is
It's not always an insult. A lot of times, it's like it's like a man like weigh in of like, dang, well, it's like dirty macking. Like he ain't put a ring on you yet. You tall, beautiful woman. Like you ain't got one. Like what's wrong with him? Like whenever people ask her that, it always gets directed back to me. like nigga, like what you waiting for? You don't even know this woman, but like what you like. But they're like, what are you waiting for? Pretty much. And I I would argue that a lot of these people are telling these women that you need the security and you also need the status associated with being married.
So
And
is
they
that,
and they
don't know
try
about
to
that.
insult you with it.
so I'm going to be honest, the only time I've ever seen a woman ask another woman that is on social media.
Exactly.
Only on social media, not in real life. Like, cuz I'm not worried about your household type of thing. So that's not a question that I've ever. So I have asked that question on social media, but only to be passive insult, like to be passive aggressive and to be insulting. Especially if I'm debating, like on social media, on my platform, 100%.
But yeah,
You
but
know,
even with
but
the
not in
insults,
real life. I think there's a difference between having a conversation in real life than on social media, and we tend to actually like mend the between the two. Like you'll take what's happening on social media and then attempt to apply it in real life. It's just not the way that it is in the real world. Like in real life, where I don't really believe that we're just walking around asking women like, "Oh, why are you not married?" That doesn't make
Naomi,
sense.
beautiful women are berated by this question.
Yep. Yeah, often actually. It happens in real life. It typically
yeah,
is
it does.
because my assumption is that women, especially beautiful women, get default. They're a good person. I mean, Mont can probably attest to this. Hink can probably attest to this. When you date beautiful women, they don't know what kind of demon she has, but they just assume because she's attractive, she's awesome. This is just blanketed. It used to happen all the time. I mean, how long you been with her? It's been 3 years. All you can put a ring on it. You don't know what crazy I got to deal with this heifer. Like, you just see the aesthetic. Like, no, like, don't come and check on my, like, she's here. I'm training her. I'm working on her. But women generally do get this question, especially in small circles, around family venues, co-workers. If she's at the same job for a while and she got the same dude, yes, she's gonna get that question because women by default, oh, you're a woman, you're awesome. No, you're not. Half the time these heifers is immature. Half the time they haven't been trained to be wives. Half the time they selfish as hell, and they never ask how is that man being treated. Ever. They don't even care. It's the fact that you got a woman. That's it. It happens in real life quite often, actually.
Go ahead, Bo.
Wait, hold on. I need to point something out. He, the way you have infected True with this heifer word, I don't appreciate it. True was, listen, True was so sweet and respectable, and he has infected True with this word heifer. And I will never forgive you.
He ain't the only one.
Go ahead, Bougie.
I get an understanding of, that's why I haven't said nothing, because an understanding of like the topic, because I know I came in late, but it seemed like when I first came in, everybody was talking about it doesn't matter if you're married. We just want two-parent households for the kids. So if you're with that person living in the same house long term, that's good for the kids. And then now we're kind of like talking about if the woman is married,
Well, let me
and
just
why isn't she married yet?
let me just help you. You just can continue the conversation because we kind of dance around. So we just pulling some stuff from Mario and just having some conversation and just keep evolving. But the last thing Truth said was that he's talking about beautiful women being questioned. Dope. They said being questioned why they're not married. Have you seen this take place?
Well, definitely, like Naomi said, it's that's a social media thing. Nobody's walking around really like just walking up to, or even like Real Dope said, like the only way that you ever really hear that is for the most part when a man's trying to like use it as a pickup line, like, oh, where's your man? Where's your husband? Why you outside being pretty and ain't nobody with you? Like that type of thing for sure. Um, but I don't know. Like I don't think that anybody should be that concerned with somebody else's like dating relationship status or whatever. especially if you're not trying to get with them. So I definitely can see how like that's really the only way that it's brought up.
I
Bougie.
think. Oh yeah, go ahead, Trey.
Bougie, have you ever been to a nail shop and you've heard the technicians like be like, "Oh, where's your husband?" or "How's you and your husband?" Like, you've never heard that? Because I've heard it quite
I
often,
mean,
actually.
so as far as the nail shop goes, I feel like, okay, so you also have to understand the nail shop lady isn't asking you for the same reason that the lady on that the lady on social media is asking you. The nail shop lady is asking you, where's your husband? Because if it's on your husband's card, you're more likely to get the more expensive set of nails. She's gonna entice you to get more enhancements on your nails. Oh, your husband's paying for this today? You got your man's card? Okay, well, now you can afford the Swarovski crystals. Now, instead of the short nails, I can probably upsell you on the long nails. I can probably add on the $10 for the shape difference. That's where that's coming from.
Okay, I appreciate that. I didn't know. I just know
Oh,
I would hear
is
it.
that what you're doing? Is that what you're doing too, Bo?
Yes, that is, I promise you, that is definitely what she's
I'm
doing.
running it up.
But 9 times out of 10, the nails, well, no, like, because it's also like, that's the upsell for a lot of things in general, though. You got to think about it. Like the even at a restaurant, right? The people that are at a restaurant and it's like, oh, the man is paying, we're going to upsell you on get a whole bottle instead of a glass of wine.
Well, I'll give you
Everything's
an
upsell when she has somebody else paying for it.
But I'll give you examples of when this happens in real life, right? Because online, it happens a different way. In real life, if people see a beautiful young woman with who they think has potential, right? They're a lot of times they're going to when they're in conversations with them, they feel comfortable enough to say, "Well, you're taken," or "Why aren't you married? Why aren't you married?" And it can be women, it can be men, it can be women telling her like, "Oh, you're not married yet." All of them are alluding to whatever's going on, and niggas wasting your time. You should be married by now. It happens so often. I had to hear about it all the time, right? Like, and I would never let nobody pressure me, but my girl always, she's just transparent. She always tell me like about her day and stuff like that. But they do it all the time just because a woman is pretty, just because the representative that you're getting seems like an amazing person. My girl had a lot of work to do. I didn't know I wanted to marry her. I didn't know I needed to marry her until a year ago and some change, to almost a year and a half ago. I tell her, oh, she knows that. She knows how much work she had to do. Everybody isn't raised to be a wife. Some women have, as a man, sometimes it's your job. Teach your woman how you need to be respected and how you need to be loved. So yeah.
I don't know, like I wouldn't, me personally, I'm never gonna walk up to somebody and ask them because I don't know if y'all understand the phrase like 13th reason, but that literally could be somebody's 13th reason. That's the equivalent to walking up to somebody and being like, why don't you have kids yet? You don't know if they just suffered a miscarriage. You don't know if like they're not married because their boyfriend just passed away. They just went through a bad breakup. Like, I feel like that's a very insensitive question to ask somebody. Like, I don't know you from a can of paint on the street, and I just think that you're good looking, and I'm gonna ask you, why aren't you married yet? Why don't you have kids yet?
It's in professional settings a lot often. It's in professional settings often. Like when you are working. My woman, she tried to ask at a certain point. She like, yo, is there another name we can use besides boyfriend and girlfriend? She said, I just feel weird saying it. It just sounds so immature. Like us as adults, we say boyfriend. Like she was even trying to come up with a different name since we wasn't married yet. I mean, wasn't engaged or married. She was trying to figure out a different name at the time. She don't work in that setting no more. She work for me now. But that's kind of like, what she was dealing with.
I was about to say the same thing. I mean, sometimes in social settings, the higher up you are, it is more prestige to be married. It's kind of looked down upon. You're an old maid. Some people have that old way of thinking. So, this new school has come in and they, it's a little different. But there are people who are still around, depending on which circle you're in. They will definitely judge you. They may not say it. And I would even say that it's probably evolved here, but even across the globe, they still look down on people who are not married, some women. So again, maybe they don't say it to you out loud, but they're just thinking it. It's not going to go away. Not anytime soon, I don't think.
What is it about okay, so if we're saying that it happens more so, let's say in like a work setting and things of that nature, right? The only time that I've ever heard somebody give me an example of why it makes sense is like when they're talking about politicians specifically, because they're like a married man is less likely to be doing certain things and is more likely to be trusted, as far as like, oh, maybe he's not, but I don't even see it like that, where I'm like, if you're going to vote for this person or you're going to let this person run a company, or you're like, what does their relationship status have to do with it? Because if they're qualified, they're qualified. Being married doesn't make you more trustworthy, because like Real Dope said, people are getting divorces left and right. We're seeing high numbers of cheating. We're like, I'm not really understanding how that adds some type of prestige to your job title.
I think it may have something to do with just a standard that was just put in place, and it's just always still been there. But people have tried to go against it, but I think that it's something that existed for a while. I've even heard some men say that they want to get married because when they go in different rooms, this is how other men move and operate. It's just like the structure, maybe the discipline. I don't think they look at everything else. I just think presentation wise, it says strength.
You're a good family man. It just reads better than you're hopping from girl to girl, or I mean, and when you're representing a company and you're higher up, it just looks better for the brand. I guess.
I mean, even on a more like relatable, let's just say that we're not top CEOs and of companies. Even if you look online, like look at the people that are respected more when it comes to talking about relationships. Like, I mean, like, for the most part, if they seem to have a healthy dynamic, then they seem to get a little bit more respect when it comes to what they're saying online.
I think it's like that thing where people so for a long time people thought having a degree really meant something. And for me, what I've learned is that all your resume, typically the way that people use it is just leverage in the conversation to make you sound interesting. It just is like, I know we probably all know a lot of women who, they're like, oh, I've been here and I've done this and I've done that, and I did, like, it just makes you sound interesting, and it like might help you get a job because somebody's like, oh, you did this, oh, you lived here, oh my god, yeah, well, now, yeah, I'll hire you because you sound like you're interesting. I think it's the same thing with like the marriage thing. If you have the title, if you have oh, he's married, he's safe, cool, he's like, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have better character than somebody else. Somebody else who's may also still have a family, but they're not married. He might be with a woman for 15 years, but they're not married.
I don't know, like the whole concept. Okay, so like that's a weird concept to have, because even if we relate it to the resume, right? I think that that's kind of weird, because when people are like looking at your resume, it's not like they don't have to still train you, because if you went and had this job at this place, because I remember M. White saying that to me before. It's like, you still have to train that person of the ways that you want them to do the job at your company. So even if she knows how to, let's say, be a wife because she was a wife before, she knew how to be a wife to that man. So that doesn't make her a qualified wife for you or a good wife to you.
Yeah, I think it's hard for us to conceive why it's important. It's because we've moved so far away from structure. Most of the things in life require vetting. Marriage at one time, for a long time, was the one process that a man, woman, can be vetted, because it wasn't dating and then transition to marriage. You had families involved, you had dynasties involved. So by the time you got to husband or wife, there was a lot of vetting. You met with the elders, you met with the family. So if you acquired a wife, you acquired a family, vice versa. And that's why transition into something like president or CEO amongst societal norms was considered respectable, because it's like someone who has a roommate compared to someone who pays mortgage. Someone who pays mortgage, you know what it requires to get a mortgage and then to have it for a decade plus, compared to someone who has a roommate. Doesn't mean that the person who has a roommate is a trash individual. It just means that they're not probably looking at life from the same vantage point of responsibility, and being vetted and proven. That's what I believe it to be. And that has not changed very much. We still trust people who have some level of stability that is proven. And typically that can come from, okay, oh, you got a wife, oh, you got a couple kids. How long y'all been married? Oh, okay. It's just kind of comes with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it either, honestly. But
and some people judge you off of your family. They look at your whole how them kids looking, everything. Like when I say looking, like how they're moving, all of those things are taken in consideration with some things. Even some, like I said, some social organizations, they read your life resume out and you're not accepted, maybe because you're not married. Sometimes you know, some other things may pull you up. It's a whole can of worms. Don't even worry about it.
All right, let me play the last part of this video real quick and get about it.
For all the reasons you
I'm not saying I
stated,
ate. I'm just saying I want to know why you disagree.
Because for all the reasons you stated, I feel as though that makes more sense to have that mindset when bringing a child into the world. Because you can feel stuck in a marriage, but you can leave a marriage.
But you do realize
you can't leave a child. You're going to be connected to this person forever, regardless. So to me, the reasons you stated, like you want to know, how you work through things, be through things. I feel like that's the type of mindset you should have before you bring a child into the world, because you got to know, like, okay, in these situations that happen, how is this going to affect my child? How is this going to affect this person as a parent? How is this going to affect our style together? Children you're forever bonded. A marriage, you can leave it at any point. Sure, maybe it might be hard, maybe religiously, some people won't want to, but the bottom line is you can leave a marriage. Once you bring a child, if it's not working, you're not seeing eye to eye, you have disagreements.
What you just said is the problem. I'm sorry, keep it.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
you shouldn't be able to leave a marriage.
Sure, but the bottom line is
why is the bottom line you can? Why are you even saying that right now? You telling me you're trying to convince me that marry, but you're like, the bottom line is you can leave a marriage.
I'm not trying to convince you to marry. I'm trying to understand why.
Not to marry, but convince me that doing marriages should be free.
No. I was trying to understand why, to you, having a child isn't.
The bottom line is that you can leave a marriage. You just said it.
Yeah. But you can't. But your reasoning was with the marriage, you might feel stuck. If you're stuck, you can leave. But you can feel stuck with the child.
Yeah, but it's different because the pressure is different because we don't have to work. We don't have to involve like I was gonna say something before I said that. You're saying that, but we're not dealing with a normal society. If this was a different type of frequency that we're dealing with, we're dealing with a very unhealthy society and living in this country.
But it's not society, it's you and your person.
No, I'm talking about the concept of what you're saying as far as getting married, and people aren't that we're dealing with a different type of perspective in society where people don't have as much grace for the most part with each other as they did in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s, right? So when you talk about marriage, people are quicker to do things. Why? Because of what other people are saying, because of how they look on social media, because of how things look. You get married, most people, 90% of people are going to post that they're married, right or wrong. They're going to put, we're excited. We're so happy. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I know a lot of successful couples. I'm talking about the ones that maybe think like me. I'm saying that sometimes it's healthier, again, to work through things with your partner, get to know your partner, work through the hard, get to know who you're marrying.
I agree with that. I don't think anyone should jump into marriage. I agree, know who you're marrying, but also that time you're taking to know who you're marrying, you're taking that same time to know who you're having a child with. I think having a child is a heavier.
You're saying don't do either one.
I'm saying having a child is a bigger burden, in my opinion, than not. I don't want to call it a burden, but it's a bigger commitment, and it can be a bigger burden than a marriage, than a divorce.
I think that. Can I be honest with you? I just have a completely different perspective.
Are you scared of marriage?
No, not at all. It's not a scare. I just told you.
Yeah,
I just told you what it was.
I don't understand.
It's not scared.
I have a hard time understanding people being able to choose to bring life with someone and be connected forever.
You may not agree with this either.
Versus,
but I'm going to explain it to you.
Marriage, where listen, if it doesn't work, we never have to see each other again. If your relationship doesn't fit, to have a healthy.
Get what you're saying, 1,000%. But I'm going to say this. This may sound crazy too to you, and this is not the case with my life at all. Because me and my girl, we're solid. I want to be with her forever. But the point is that legal. This sounds crazy to me.
Just not legal. And let me tell you something. Legally? Let me even tell you something. I don't even want to get married
legally.
Because that's, the marriage part, that's where the legal.
That's crazy to me. I don't subscribe to that.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to these types of energetic traps that involve other people. I want to keep my life and things in my life pure as possible. The only reason I'm not sovereign yet is because I don't feel like doing all the paperwork yet and all that stuff. I don't want to even be a part of, but it's cool. We're going to play the game. The point is that I feel like sometimes even in certain cases, a child may come through a couple, and those couple may not be meant to be together forever, but they were meant to bear this child together. I don't think that every situation is the same. And I think that it's up to the couple, it's up to
that's I just don't understand that, man. You still learning to figure out if she's worthy enough to get married, but I'm gonna go in there naked head and I'm gonna drop a seed in and I'm gonna pray and hope that she's gonna be a good mother, not an abusive, verbal abusive, physically abusive type mother. I hope she's a loving mother, and don't decide to put my child up for adoption because she can do that without your consent. First of all, you got to establish that's your child, right? She got legal ramifications over that you don't right now because it's a possibility that may be your child, possibility it may not. So now you got to determine that's your child first thing first. And if she decided in that time, yeah, I'm gonna put this baby up for adoption. I don't want this child because he don't want to be around. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Nothing. Ain't shit you gonna be able to do because she got the law on the side. Yeah. Look, I don't know what type of woman she is. Hopefully she's a good mother. She may not be a good significant a wife, a possible wife. I just pray she's a good mother because you done gave this woman a baby. You know what I'm saying? You don't hardly know anything about her. You just know she was good for the moment.
Well, Hank, you just unlocked a new irrational fear. Oh my God, she's going to give my baby up for adoption.
It's possible. Look, if a woman's mad at you, I've seen some trifling women do some shit like that.
So you saying that she can sign up for adoption while she's pregnant? So immediately when the baby is born, and the baby goes for adoption without the father being involved, is that what happened?
He has no rights.
He has no rights until he signed the birth certificate.
What? No, more than just his birth certificate. He got to establish paternity. He got to establish that it's his child.
You ain't got to do that.
All right, man.
Depending on your state. I'm sorry. Depending on the state. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
He said something very interesting to me as he was talking. I was thinking about it. Maybe one of you guys would know. When was marriage instituted from a legal perspective? Because from my understanding, for a long time, probably longer than current day, to be married was just to constitute, like you stood before some person or people, had witnesses, and y'all just declared, right? You just declared. And then at some point in human history, we started tracking it, now putting it to, now you need a license, right? I don't know when that occurred, but I think I understand if for more of human history we've married each other and respected marriage from the declaration of it without paperwork, but now you need paperwork. You need to have this license to now say that we're married. Like, is that to invalidate all of those people that came before? I would want to know, like,
4,000 years ago. I just Googled it.
Yeah,
okay,
it
thank
says
you.
like the 1800s onward for the United States.
For the United States, but
Yeah.
it came into contract. Okay, with the United States, I didn't put that down. I just put that.
Yeah, like 1700s and 1800s. So it started off in England and Wales in 1753. The Marriage Act, 1753, Hardwicke's Act required formalities like a church ceremony or license for a marriage to be legally valid. France was the late 1700s. United States was 1800s onward. By the 19th century, in most Western countries, marriage was firmly a legal contract recognized and enforced by the state and not just a religious or cultural practice.
So that gives me context, because I would want to know from that point, like that vantage point, what was the purpose of the legality, right? Because humans have been around for a long time. So this is a very still maybe fairly new concept. Yeah, who's to say that you can't declare one's relationship valid between two people and a party? And
yeah, I think it was to transfer land and all of your the property and all that kind of stuff. Like,
I just checked again, ChatGPT. Short version, they made marriage legal so the state could control what happens to money, children, and power when people join or separate. So like property and money, like who gets it, children and inheritance, whose child is this, power and social control, keeping people in line, contracts and rights, so you can't just walk away, like benefits and rewards, do what we want, get perks.
Wow. Yeah. See, and that just makes it to me just sound messy. Like if it's supposed to be this union of love and trust and whatnot, and yeah, getting in partnership with the state and that just sounds unattractive.
Y'all know why men, and whether you're married or not, you're Mr., and why women have Ms., Mrs., and Miss?
waiting for the answer.
It's based on societal It's based on society, right? A woman who is married is deemed different from a woman who is not married. She's a higher social status, traditionally. Now it's a little bit different, but that's always been what it's been. And a lot of women want to get married because they want that check next to their name. They want to be Mrs. They don't want to be Ms. anymore or Miss anymore. So society is part of what makes women want to get married so bad too.
And it's and just like we said earlier, that's why the insults come. People feel like they can get you. Even people play into that on the internet. People play into it even in real life. They're like, "Oh, my husband." People flaunt it on the internet as if you're beneath them because they're married and you're not. So it goes along with that.
I think that for me, I think a lot more men would get married if we could just also contractually enforce a woman's participation in the things that she signed up for being married. You can't enforce what women do. And I think that's kind of what makes it unfair for men. And that's why it's like a no-brainer for women. Like, but you with a woman, she has sex with you all the time. These are the type of things that you want your woman to do. You want her to have sex with you. You want her to be obedient to some degree, right? Not like a tyrant, but you want her to. That's what y'all both signed up for. But your portion of that is legally enforceable, but hers isn't. You can't make her have no judge is going to make her have sex with you. No judge is going to make her respect you. No judge is going to make her stop calling you names. Like when you're upset, no judge is going to enforce any of the things that you wanted from a woman. But you damn sure is going to. They damn sure going to go inside your bank account, and they're going to scrutinize all your finances, and they're going to make sure that you got money for them kids and all that type of stuff. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I just looked up Mrs. Mrs. exists historically. A woman's identity in many cultures was tied to who her husband was, whether she was taken or available. So Miss means young, unmarried, possibly available. Mrs. married, attached, someone's wife. It was literally a social label that told people this woman is already claimed. And the term MS, miss, it's a newer one.
So my mom told me that MS, that miss, came from the feminist movement. That they didn't want that connotation that I'm like unattached or attached. They just wanted like this neutral, just call me this. So yeah, it's newer.
Like it's the female version of Mister.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna learn today, huh? Y'all gonna be going back to y'all houses talking about, so we need to sit down and really talk this over. We need to reconsider some things.
Woman, I don't even know if she's gonna be a good mother. I'm just drop my load. Shit, here you go, girl. I don't know you're gonna be good. I know you ain't gonna be good enough to marry, but shit, I might as well give you a baby though, and just pray and hope. Have my fingers crossed that it works out for the best of us.
So would anybody on the panel be opposed moving forward with just a contract and not involve the law in it? Or do you guys want the law in it? I know you do, Shan, already, but do you guys want the law in it? Is it really official without the law?
It's official before God.
That's that slave language. You see that, Shan? That's that slave language. You say you spoke like a slave.
Yes, and
oh God.
Like I would be okay with just an understanding, but when it comes to like making legal decisions and my position in like making a decision in the hospital or whatever the case, like I know that there's paperwork in place for that, but there's still things that the family can do that I couldn't do unless I'm attached by that piece of paper. So yes and no for me.
If you are working a corporate job, 9 to 5 regular job, are you able to still get benefits with most companies if you are not legally married? Or do you have to produce
I can't. So I have benefits, right? And I can't put you on my. Only thing I can put on my benefits is like if I adopt a child. I can't just have a man in the house like, oh, he's my partner.
I can't even do that as an entrepreneur. Like I can't, until I'm married, I can't add her onto my insurance until we got the legal paperwork.
You could make her your beneficiary though, if you like a life insurance policy, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's after.
Yeah, well, that's something like that. That's something different.
You know what? Do y'all think that a woman can be a good mom and not be a great wife? Do you think though? Do you think it's harder to be a good wife or it's harder to be a good mom?
I think it's harder to be a good wife.
Okay.
And I'm a good mom at the same time.
Everybody keeps saying that like marriage isn't natural. Like I heard a lot of men say that. So technically, like we are.
You heard Mont say that up here.
I think I can make the argument that that's objectively true.
I don't think she finished it.
Like, wouldn't it be the automatic assumption that if that's the case, obviously it's easier to be a good mom because that's what comes natural to us anyways. We're built to have children. Like we're built to be parents regardless.
See, I struggle with that concept because just in observing reality currently, it seems that women, if we're talking, okay, these kids are not coming out of a test tube. They're coming from that man, right? I don't know how you default to the kid and dismiss the contribution that man made from a DNA perspective. So to me, I would judge her based on how she respects and treats me to assume her motherhood. I don't believe that you can just, automatically, because it's now a child. That child came from a union of sex, of intimacy, right? But it seems like women can detach the man, like, well, that's my kid. But that kid is a combination of y'all's biology. So regardless, he's involved. It just seems, this is what I've observed. I could be wrong, but it just seems that like modern day women rock with their kid, but can dismiss the man, like no question. And I'm trying to figure out how's that possible.
So it's really easy to dismiss somebody that dismisses the most important thing in the world to you. That's very easy. You have to understand that most women that have that mindset are coming from a place of he wasn't taking care of the children. And so a lot of women make a very easy separation of like, if this thing is the most important thing in the world to me, and you make me feel like you mistreat this thing, it is very easy to then in turn mistreat you. Because I don't really see it as, from at least from what I'm seeing, I don't see a lot of men talking about it the way that y'all talk about it. They're completely fine with walking away. A lot of men will in turn, you can tell the kid that they take care of is the kid that's attached to their favorite baby mom.
See,
Bougie, I'm not gonna let you do that.
No,
yeah,
no. Let me see what you're saying. So I think that, look, I don't think that that's the majority, but I have seen that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have seen that. We can't say that does not happen. It does. You know, we've all seen that man who marries somebody else, and you're like, dang, what your daddy? You're like, he don't come around no more. You know, got a new family. But I don't think that's the majority. But I wanted to say this. I think that what happens, I think that when women have, and this is just from what I've seen, okay? When a woman has a baby, she now becomes a new woman. The woman that you had prior to her having a baby, sometimes that woman is no more. She is, I don't know, it's hormones. She's baby focused. She prioritizes that baby, right? So there are things that are going to irritate her, that if she has to do some things and if she feels like those are things that you should be doing and you're not doing, she's just going to get, even though it's maybe something petty, that little petty that may have irritated her like 1%, 2%, now it maxes like 20, 30, 40, 50%. You know, it becomes like a little, I can't deal with it because the tolerance is no longer there. Or the responsibility, because you lose sleep when you have a kid. You're tired. It's a especially when you have little kids. When they grow up, that's why I tell people, you're going through something right now, wait till that kid gets about 6 or 7. All that is gonna, if you can stick between 6 and 7, 8, that marriage is gonna smooth out. Some people just try to get that divorce. They get that divorce during the hard time when the kids are very active, when they take a lot of energy out of you. And to me, that divorce is premature, so to speak. You're just tired.
I think you're right, Shan, and I guess that's what I was trying, because what Bougie did, and I hope she comes back on, she immediately went to the negative. I'm not saying in a situation where the man is mistreating or not taking care of his responsibility. I'm saying that in a healthy union, regardless if it's marriage, regardless if y'all decided to have children, what the freaking heck ever, it's almost like in that situation, some women seem to take the man and demote him now that children are on the scene. And I'm trying to figure out how, if we decided to have this child or children, your child that you covet, that you love, is 50% of me. Like you know, but it seems like they're in their mind, they can disregard. Like if he died, they be cool because they got their kid. And I'm like, how is that possible? I don't understand. I struggle with that, but I'll add.
I understand. I understand it. It's like I like to think of things in a primitive way sometimes, and I think it makes sense to think of things that way to some degree, even though we do live in a modern society and we live in a civilization and we got rules and stuff. But like I said, the only thing that we know we're supposed to be doing is procreating. We don't know if we're supposed to be like, we don't know for sure if we're supposed to be like getting paperwork and signing things and like attaching our lives together with, you know, individuals. We don't really know if we're supposed to be doing that. So I can see how a woman can be like, yo, I love my baby to death, but I don't love you to death. You know, kind of.
I struggle with that because, and this I was raised a certain way. My mother sat us down when we were young and told us, I love you, but your father comes first. This is how I was trained, right? Mm-hmm. So now being a full adult now, like, I see, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I feel loved. I know I was loved. But the way it was explained to me, and even when I did my historical research, at one time, people used to have 8, 10, 12 kids, not because they just loved each other. There wasn't birth control, but there was a high mortality rate. Children died because of sickness and whatnot, right? But what you did not see is that the man was going out and getting multiple women. He had his wife and they just had a lot of kids. But modern time, it's like, it seems that women are totally okay as long as they have a child or a few children. They're cool. And the man is disposable. Like, I'm like,
I think it's both ways. I think that there are men who can love their kid and not necessarily love their baby mama. It's like, this is my kid. I'm gonna take care of my kid. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I think that's just two humans that I've just gotten, it can go both ways, actually.
Let me say this. I think that is because we already know that we can't depend, like you can't count on a man to stay. I think that it's just the stigma of that. It's that fear of already being left. Like when I got pregnant and I told the guy that I got pregnant by, hey, I'm pregnant. Well, it ain't mine. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that it's just this thing where we're like, well, we have to automatically expect it. So you can come or go, right? Because that's just kind of, it's a stigma. It's a thing that happens, and every woman is afraid of that when you tell men that you're pregnant.
And if we being honest, true, a lot of women got a lot of DNA inside of them. So,
what type of women you be swimming up in?
Shan, I said a lot of women have a lot of DNA inside of them. Do you disagree? Do you think a lot of women don't have a lot of DNA inside of them?
I think a good number.
What's wrong with a lot? They synonyms.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool.
Okay, so I wanted to I wanted to jump in here and actually speak to what you were saying, True. So I think this goes hand in hand. What you're saying is exactly why Mario was saying what he was saying. Because if you heard the woman, she was saying, well, you can just get divorced. Mario was like, no, you're not supposed to just be able to just get divorced. If we take it back to that, the men's mindset, majority of men are like, nah, I really don't want to have to get divorced. But if we look at the reflection of women and listen to them speak, especially like she couldn't understand how, well, yeah, respectfully, I agree with what Hink said. Although if you take a step out of that, she was like, well, a child is more of a commitment. And he said, no, a marriage is more of a commitment. And I want to make sure that I'm going to marry her because I don't want to get divorced. Now, if we look at that, so I'm going to be honest, I've been just kind of sitting here listening, but even if you have a child, I don't think a child is more of a commitment because that kid is going to grow up. By the time that the kid is like 13, 14, 15, 16, they're going to be like doing their own thing. They're going to be in their sports. I know I have teenagers and I have an older daughter as well. She's 19. She's in college right now. She comes to me and asks me questions about how she can, go about her day type of thing. But she goes off and does her own thing. That's what happens with children. So it's not a commitment. Marriage is the commitment and the longevity. But if you listen to what a lot of the women are saying, and I'm saying like on social media, it's temporarily because divorce is so easily available in today's time. And so that's why the reverence for a man that I've actually spoken about. And that's why the honor of a marriage is something that it's lost its value. And it comes purely from the reflection of the woman. If you hear her speak long enough, her mindset will tell you on whether or not she's marriage material or whether or not she's marriage minded. Because it goes right back to the interview. She was like, well, no. A child is more longer. And he was like, he goes, no, a marriage is. And she said, well, you can just get divorced. And he was like, well, no, you can't. Who told you that? And if you listen to the interview, she never answered on who told her that it was okay for her to just get divorced. She said, well, it's something that you do. And that goes right along with what you're saying, True. In society today, majority of the time, a man is disposable. Women tend to say that, well, men treat us like we're disposable. Well, you allowed him to. But in society now, men are disposable. A marriage is disposable, and you can just get divorced because they're backed by the judicial system. They're backed by government assistance. They're backed by society. And everybody's championing this independent boss babe because she's a strong woman, because she's a single mother. And unfortunately, you're praised more as a single mother than you are a wife.
I don't know that.
No, you if you listen, so I'm talking about social media. If you're on social media, you are praised more as a single mother. And in real life, there are so many more benefits that is offered to you if you have custody of the children. Income does play a role in it. I'm not going to sit here and say no, but if we want to look at the statistics, women who are underneath the poverty line, and they have multiple children, they get free education, they get free. And I know because I was a WIOA caseworker for the state of Texas, and every time they came, they gave them bus passes, they paid for their school, they gave them gas cards, they gave them outfits, they gave them clothes, everything for them to be able to be self-sufficient and an able-bodied working individual. And then they put in their time, and then they would leave. I don't want to go to school. I just want to come to this class that I have to come to so I can get my benefits, or something along those lines. And I'm not going to say all women, because there are some women who were receiving benefits while they're working because it was needed, because of the lack of financial support. But the fact of the matter is, this is exactly why what you're asking, True, is exactly why in that conversation with Mario, where he was like, no, I don't want to have to get divorced. But if you listen to the woman, a majority of women, they're like, well, you could just get divorced. That's the mindset of most women in today's society. There's no longer the reverence and honor for marriage.
And I think that goes into, again, what Hank was saying, well, why even have a kid with her? Would you vet for both at the same time? Like, why are you having a kid? Because would you want to have to me, he has options. So why wouldn't you just vet for both at the same time?
It's cheaper just as a whole, it's cheaper to pay child support than have to pay alimony and spousal support and child support all together.
Right, but that's where prenups come in, right? That's for people who don't have those things.
How many celebrity prenups have we seen on social media and the news that are because they're being like bonked?
I think that because
it takes a good attorney. Like, right. Not think about this.
But I think that's what we're learning together right now, because we have social media and we're seeing the things that don't work. It makes us even stronger to know, okay, and we have people say these are the ones that do work. Before, we didn't have social media. It was just like you wrote a prenup, and it was like, okay, you thought it was good, and you left this addendum out, you left this out, you left this clause out, So I think that we're learning that as time goes. But again, child support too costs. It costs to raise children, and even though you're right, it's for a limited amount of time, but so is alimony. So let me just say this real fast. In Mario's case, I get it. You don't have to sell me on Mario's case. He's an exceptional case, right? Most people are not getting alimony like that. Most people, the people who you're talking about, the welfare people, he's not. If they got together, and they're not getting alimony. And I've seen families. You don't necessarily have to get rid of the husband anymore. There are families who also receive benefits. I've seen those, because I've had to sign paperwork too about stuff, and what I do, for other benefits, for other stuff. But that's no longer the case. That's what I'm saying.
Shan, do you think most women want to get married?
I think that most women want to be married, but I don't think most women want to do what it takes to sustain a marriage.
Do you think most women want children?
Nowadays, I don't know.
Okay, just take a guess, like in general.
Probably it'll be most, like, it'll definitely be most.
Do you think most men want children?
Yeah.
Do you think most men want to be married?
That's a toss-up today too.
I don't think most men want to be married, right? And I don't think that most men really benefit from being married, because we can get all of that without being married. Men want children, so it makes sense why Mario would have a kid. Take the risk. All right, you might have to spend a little bit of money. Worst case scenario, cool. Take the risk, have a kid. He wants a kid. Men, we get married for women. We get married because we love women, and our woman wants to do that, and it'll make society look at her a certain way. Whatever, it'll please her parents, it'll please her family and all her girlfriends. Cool, we get married for women, but objectively speaking, I don't think that the benefits of a man, we're not really getting anything different than we're getting from women when we're not married.
I think that that's where it comes on women. I don't think that this is a male issue. I think this is a female issue. That should be a stipulation for her even carrying your seed. You shouldn't be able to have a kid without marriage. That's on her, in my opinion.
Well, so here's
if that's something that she wants, right?
Box is $40. It is what it is.
So here's the thing with that. So men have like tangible things that they're supposed to provide while in a marriage, and they're held accountable to that. They have a tangible accountabilities, they have tangible responsibilities, and a lot of times it's forced when you get divorced and go into the judicial system, what he was not doing. Women do not. Men have forced accountability and responsibility. Women do not have forced accountability and responsibility. Majority of the time, a woman can, and women get off with, like, there's a running joke where a woman can like slap a dude across his head and it's a joke. Like, it's funny. But if a man does that, like, everybody's going to call the law and he's going to end up arrested.
Lock his ass up.
That's the difference between men and women. Men have such a very tangible level of accountability and responsibility, and women don't. You can't go to the judge and say, okay, well, she wasn't cooking dinner every day, type of thing. I want to get divorced. A judge is going to look at that man and laugh. Yeah, as a matter of fact, men tell other men, like, you know what, my guy, you just gotta, take you like a chin, like, or the hit on the chin. I don't know. There's a saying about hitting your chin, like take it with the hit on the chin and, keep it pushing type of thing, and accommodate type of thing. And men have to do that because there's no actual forced accountability for a woman to be a wife or a mother. As a matter of fact, if you look at statistics, majority of children that are have active CPS or DCFS cases, they're actually mothers who are single mothers. And it's neglect and abuse and all kinds of other things. And there's a lot of other things that go into that statistic I don't want to go into. But that's the reflection of the weight of, men having children or women having children without that, that marriage type of thing. And I think if we're not being honest, if we're going to sit here and have a conversation about, it being just easy to have a prenup, most medium income households don't have prenups. They don't have those ways to protect the way that Mario does, and it's a toss up. And that's why I said, it becomes a reflection of the woman and her mindset. And that's why, True, you're now struggling with that question, because just like, majority of men, they'll be like, man, I don't want to have to get divorced because it's cheaper to keep her. There's that. It's cheaper to keep her. And he doesn't want to have to get divorced. But it's so easily attainable now for a woman to get divorced that it ends up, it's just ruined everything where it is now.
No, I do agree with everything that you're saying. I do think people need to choose wisely. I don't think every woman should be a wife. I think that needs to go back to the drawing board and see what, what that looks like, how you can better choose. I don't know. Maybe middle class people need to start, because I'm gonna tell you now, if I get married, I'm middle class, I'm getting a prenup. In the discussion, I will marry you and I will love you for all, and I'm never going to leave you. This is not me thinking it's going to end, because that's just not, I've been known to stay in things longer than I should. So I'm not the person who leaves normally. But at the end of the day, I have to protect myself. And I feel like people of all walks should be protecting themselves.
Yeah, I think it goes so far past, I think we're very far gone. And I know this to be true, and even my personal life and conversations I've had with young ladies, and even observing, marriage for a long time was a family thing. It still is. In current day, past the treatment, past the not being able to enforce sex or not being able to enforce her cleaning or cooking or whatever, men used to get a lot marrying. They don't. The only leverage we have now is to stay single and occupy your space, for as long as we want to occupy your space. Because this is something I've even told, my lady now. I'm like, I love you, but if I married you, I just get you. Like, there's no, I'm not marrying into a family that's structured. I'm not marrying into something. There used to be a time a man would marry you and get other support. Like, he had other family members. That family member may have connections in the city. That family member may be a mechanic. That family, like, that's not happening now. So the problem to me is the fact that you're asking men to like subject themselves to a judicial system in the event that we don't work, and then protect ourselves with a structure of prenup. And, oh, well, if it don't work, well, then this is the preliminaries. It shouldn't even get to that point, because the reason why divorces were so not a thing of the past, families were the contingency. There was people who used to put y'all down, sit you down, and be like, what's the problem? Okay, you need us to watch the kids? We'll watch the kids. Y'all take 2 weeks or whatever it may be. You struggling with bills? Okay, what can we do to bring it together? But nowadays, most women you meet, 80% of them come from broken freaking households. And you want men to sign up for getting just you. And like we're saying, are women ready to be wives? I think they're not ready to be wives because they haven't been indoctrinated to understand family and how it truly works. Past just being a wife, a family unit, what it entails. And that's why I don't knock Mario or any other man for that matter. And I'll land.
And there again, there's a vetting right there. Go visit her family. What are they looking like? What are they doing? Like, have a sit down.
Most of them don't have no family. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, a lot of them do though. It's the ones you're choosing that don't have families. Like I was just on a podcast and I read in the comments. I'm gonna tell you now. I love the little girls in my son's life. They are some solid, good people. Be like, oh, ain't no good girls out here. It's where you are, honey. It is where you are. It is your environment. These girls are not as bad as you're making them out to be if you're in the right environment. Like, I think that there are good guys. We just don't like just like good guys. Women don't like the good guys. There are good girls, and maybe they don't look the way you want them to look, but they're there and they will be great wives. But we overlook them because maybe that butt ain't juicy. Because the bad ones got the bubble butts. I don't know what is about ratchet and bubble butts that go hand in hand, and I know you got to let it go and go over here to this flat mat, and you just have to and love it because she's gonna be there.
Oh my God, man! Shout out to the white women ass women. That's what I'm talking about.
No, it's black women with flat backs. Like, I'm telling you, listen. I know y'all think that all black women got butts. That is not the truth.
Hello, motherfucker.
I think maybe 20, 30, 40%. I would say majority do not have butts. I think the ones you're looking at, because you're so toxic and you just zoom in on the butt, you think, oh, it's so many of them. That's not true.
Why I gotta be toxic though? Like,
I'm just joking. I'm just saying, it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit, but we can find some good ones that have, maybe she's taken though, that have all of the things that you like, but she's not toxic. But let's be real. Most of the ones that got with you, they over here.
She ain't not wrong. She not lying. And I agree that most black women don't actually have big booties and all that type of stuff. It's not like the early 2000s made us think that everybody was walking around looking like Melissa Ford, but they pan to try to look like Melissa Ford. That's what they trying to do.
I can't relate.
Melissa Ford, ain't she a goddamn adult actress?
She look good. Well, she used to look good.
Damn, man. What the?
You don't like girls? You don't think she used to look good?
I don't like girls. I love my wife though.
Okay. Yeah, good boy. You're a good boy. Good husband.
And why I gotta be a boy, man?
I'm a real nigga.
God. God, this is crazy. Look, I don't disagree with what a lot of y'all are saying. My issue is, dog, he made a mistake by getting this woman pregnant, who you don't think he can at least be in he don't even have to get married, but at least in a civil relationship. That's my only issue, dog. I would not recommend you go out here and get a crazy ass heifer pregnant, especially she ain't got her sense about her. And if you have any question about her, don't impregnate her, man. Because guess what? More than likely, she gonna pour that poisonous bullshit into your child, and that's a problem. Now you making little future assholes. We got enough around. We don't need little future ones, but that's what they reproducing because you didn't do your due diligence. You didn't vet this heifer the way you didn't look into her family background, her medical history, her mental history. You need to know all of that shit, man. God damn.
Let me go and get to these super chats. Matthew Pearson, 3821, $2. Hink them lucky ass Bears. Blood gonna run out. Sound like I hated on hating ass. JD Thompson, 0982, also member with the $5. JD again, $2. We're all not truly safe. Not in 2025. Nasty. Kelvin Cook, 667, $5. It's okay to enjoy your 20s, but by 29, ain't you tired of getting tossed around? Kelvin again, $5. So, you say you don't want kids. Why? Because your tube's tied? You afraid I'm going to leave. Don't be. I don't want kids either. Bruiser, $4.99, says y'all do know that for the rich, it's more affordable and less risk to just procreate unmarried. Bruiser again, with the $4.99, AI lately has been ensuring prenup strong. It's not that it don't work. It's that the less wealthy of the two refuses to sign. B Fry one, $5. If marriage was just a business, then no one should get mad when the other steps out. It's just business. Laugh my ass off. Kelvin, $2. Men are at peace now. Is that bothering you too? Big Ant, 1171, $10. When I grow up, I want to get married and stay in the basement and eat broccoli and call people heifer all day, just like my big bro Hank. Not gonna be the Bears. Not going to be a Bears fan though. And dedicated to my children. Also, member gifted one Lapeef Network membership, and then he gifted another one. Shout out to you, dedicated to my children's future. Appreciate you. Any final thoughts, final words before we get up out of here? Anybody want to say nothing that didn't get the opportunity to? Y'all want to let it bleed to the audience?
Let me say one thing. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I do. There's opportunities out there to give back to your community. If you have the means and the wherewithal and the finance and maybe even the time, do that. Every year I do an angel tree kid, and I make sure I do some way to give back. I usually get 8 and 9 year old young boys because it reminds me of my brother and I, who was also a recipient of Angel Tree. So I definitely encourage you guys, if you're able to do it, please do it. If not, I understand. But if you see them people out there with the red buck shaking a bell, drop a few coins in there if you have the means. But that being said, that's it for me, JR. Thanks.
Well, that's a solid way. Anybody else? All right. Well, y'all make sure y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Shout out to the Chicago Bears. We're kicking ass. We're going to continue to kick some ass around here on this NFL turf. Y'all enjoy the rest, and I'll catch y'all Tuesday. We out.